师想补刀，其实那个双钩血喉真不好躲，而且有那种进阶版，斜放双钩血喉，你懂的，
就怎能够
用那个斜边的最顶端来蹭你，
最远的距离让你被拉到。
对，很多英雄都能用那个斜边的机制，大家最熟悉的可能就是剑魔的一个斜角二段边。
对。
Very tired.
那对于这把来说，我
Get a
觉得
chance,
前
I
期
just
和
want
中
to
田
move
对
phone
方在这个
cable.
对线上，包括说
Thank you.
皇子顾瑞这边会不会有更多的动作？一级设计里面，其实布隆是比较强势的，但是偏保守。
Udyr seems underrated in a health stacking meta with a percent HP damage. Yeah, I mean, look, Udyr's not a bad champion, folks. Udyr has uses. He's like I said, he's in this strange kind of niche where he is. Oh, okay. So this is different. So guys, this is the Team WE swap. This is the Taeyun swap, where you change AD carry and top lane. I've heard people calling it the Viper swap. I understand why, because it's the first time it's seen in the LCK. It was played a month before that by Taeyun, though, over in LPL, and also in scrims. W were the first team to do that, as Score, Katie Rolls' coach, told us about that. Player started E, by the way, missed the first part of the E, and Shogun has now just removed all his HP bar.
Yeah, and again, Nymaera at level 1 is actually notoriously very strong, because as long as you get to a Q passive stacked, you just get to run at people and do a lot of extended DPS. Yeah.
BFX. I'm not gonna lie, folks, we're gonna be very chill today, because that's, first off, this series does not matter, but Vikings are already out. BFX are already in terms of playoffs. Or knockouts, technically, it's not really playoffs.
Why are Vikings in fashion now?
You know, sometimes you just gotta plunder, Sam. Linda's farm's lovely this time of year.
I didn't make a Linda's farm joke on cast once.
How did that go?
Well, people went, oh my god, you made a Linda's farm reference. Like, yeah, I did.
Yeah. What did Godgor say about this series? They did vote for Vikings, Godgor.
Well, currently Kratos is about to try and take on Diablo. I feel like having God versus the Devil, but from two different pantheons, is like just records of Ragnarok.
Kellen is going for a wide old angle. He should be safe. He can E out if he needs to. So, yeah, lane swap detection is now off, and this is maybe one of the reasons why the Udyr was picked. Udyr is good in 1v2s. He's good in 1v1s for his lady carries too, but in the first level of the lane, he can kind of throw his ult at the wave and always wave clear. That's why he was very good in lane swaps in the early 24 meta as well, because he was really good at not dying and wave clearing very well.
That's the one. Did like his Fimble Winters once upon a time. And his burn build. There have been some AP Udyr things where you like Leandries in the tank as well.
Yeah, that's true. Or Riftmaker occasionally.
That's true. That's true.
That's the thing. Kind of forgot about
Is
that.
weirdly not enjoying Jin early. Jane. How are you doing, Jane?
Isn't Jane the character in Tarzan?
Yes.
Yeah. Jane Goodall, wasn't it based off of?
Basically. Who was, of course, you know...
The monkey scientist.
Yeah.
Friends of the primates.
Has now sadly passed away?
Yeah, rest in peace. Yeah, no, one of those people who seemed like a good person, I think. No, I actually have nothing else to say about Jane Goodall, sadly. I'm really not that familiar. However, yes, nice to honour the memory, I suppose. Okay, so we've got a bit of a... Yeah, had that swap come in for 3 minutes. Shogun's still laning up against the Renekton. Actually, Renekton picked up more farm than you do, which I wasn't expecting.
No, especially with that level 1 where we went, Yunara just blasted you. How does this happen?
Yeah.
I think over the extended lane, the Jin's consistent trades have been a bit problematic, which is fair enough.
Also, if you trade heavily, then Jin's damage becomes really scary because it's execute damage. Xilong might be in trouble here. It does have flash if it gets very bad.
Is it going to be very bad or just mildly annoying? It's just mildly annoying.
It's mildly annoying, so it's mildly annoying. Oh yeah, did you see the Doran's Blade changes which are coming out?
I know there are, so I don't actually know what they've done with them.
Yeah, so they're changing it away from a 3% lifesteal to heal for 2.5% of all damage done. Reduced by 33 to 33% for AoE and damage of time abilities.
That could mean some AP people who've got doing some silly things.
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say, like, hang on, isn't this just like a cannon buff or something? Yeah, oh wow, I just thought, yeah, Cannon's got to be insane with that. Oh, wow. Yeah, and like a bunch of other people are just going to use it very well.
I can see Rise being alright with it, actually.
Yeah, but yeah, I want to see. I think the change, the reason they made that change is that they want to make sure that, as Udyr does the whole proxying thing, Udyr's always been very good at that. I think they want to make sure that AD mages, like, you know, AD assassins like Zed or Talon or someone like Jace can also use it and not feel bad about it. Callan's gonna have the heal blind, but it'll be fine.
Which is actually probably very reasonable. It is nice for Zed, it is nice for Jace.
But then, it's going to be weird because most of the time they were always like longsword builders so they can get towards their first component first.
Oh, just go back to the days of double Doran's Al.
I mean, that's the thing. So, when we had the 1v1 side select, we did have a lot of Doran stacking back then. Hang on, might be a bit of a play up here. Remember, Braum is kind of scary here.
Yeah, there's a cultivation of spirit, Alex, and that means that they're going to they can't transcend themselves, only level 5, but they wish they could transcend themselves.
Sam, they're killing them.
Wusha protagonist is doing murderous things.
Clear instead just walked up to the wave, tried to get some rage and died.
I'm so angry I died.
Yeah. I was like, wow, to transcend it, Sam, the Renekton's dying.
I was quoting Nymaera abilities.
Yeah.
Like, see, I know the abilities of Nymaera as there's a Windblown Storm. Diablo needs to run across his captive audience. Unfortunately, Kratos is really not captive right now. He's currently being attacked by a large bird man. We know what Kratos does to people with winged feet. He kills them.
Flashing out. They're flashing out there. That was a little scary. I mean, whoa, now he's got the level 6. Curtain's called. That is such a weird trade. That was one of those times where I just didn't expect the Udyr kind of just random slap to do so much damage. Now Raptor's coming down. Come on, folks. This is a 1v3. This is a little unfair.
He's still going to keep running away. Kratos doesn't run. He fights to the death. So this is a complete lie. While Raptor will show a supreme display of talent and flash away, the Cataclysm now going to go down. Does they have the Terror Ship? They do. So they get over the wall. But now look who's TP'd in. It's Braum, who hits them with the Winter's Bite. Nice KO.
Oh, the blind Braum Q as well. Damn. I mean,
my fist is the strongest muscle. Braum, stop this. No.
I'd like to think, you know, he does punch his shield so hard that ice comes off of it to actually deal damage. I was really impressed by Kratos there. Kratos did a ton of damage. I was, I have not seen who did that much, and I'm not sure Fearix have either, because they were not prepared for that amount of damage.
No, they were not.
Why do you recognize the name Shogun? Has he played in LPL earlier? No, but he was in Saigon Buffalo and was on the very cool team that went to MSI in 22. He got a pentakill at Worlds as well. Very cool.
I think at the time as well, he was going to Worlds and obviously had a fantastic showing, kind of went on to become a very good laner, but at the time he was actually one of the weaker bot lanes.
Yeah.
Well, so it was kind of the making of him.
Yeah, that's true, because at that point it was kind of like, well, yeah, you know, like the best AD carry was clearly Artemis, like couple of other, maybe, yeah, he was maybe like 3rd, 4th best AD carry within Vietnam at that point. Then he went to MSI and Worlds and was just so good. He was so good. He was seen as a weak point for the team, you're absolutely right. They were a top side-centric team back then. Shogun pops the ult, trying to get some wave clear. I think he might die anyway. That's an awful lot of point and click. Shogun, wow, okay.
Oh my days, he gets away with it.
They did not point and click hard enough somehow. I am very surprised at that. Shogun escapes.
Unfortunately, this is League of Legends, not Monkey Island. There's only so much pointing and clicking allowed.
Okay, I appreciate that one. Man, you know I never played the Monkey Island games? I think I played similar, because there were a lot of kind of like low-res point-and-click adventure games at that point. Particularly educational games, they followed that formula quite a bit.
That's how I learned how to hide the bodies.
Which ones?
Well, they're hidden, I can't tell you them.
I
learned well from this game, Alex.
Right, okay, right. Well, cool. I didn't realize you picked up that skill set. That was a great dodge on the Rakan W. And then... That is a clutch shield. That is a very clutch shield.
Geelong did a really good job though.
And now that means that Shogun's actually ahead of Jin and also has a cult. So he's going to be close enough to 1,000 gold.
Yeah, about 800 gold, won't it, realistically?
Yeah. No, Shogun's going to be a really good spot. So, Vikings, who are eliminated already, are up against the 2-0 BFX. This is their last series for both of them in the group stage. And Vikings have an early lead.
I'm going to put this out there as well. I feel it's somewhat inappropriate that we're mixing our time periods and cultures here with Shogun on a Vikings team, yeah.
Shogun is on a Viking team. Kratos is from, ancient Greece, and they are Vikings. I was saying this is basically a For Honor lineup, the game For Honor. which had like samurai versus Vikings versus knights.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember if For Honor was actually a good game, but I remember it being a thing.
I don't remember.
Did anyone play For Honor in chat? Do you have opinions on the game? Because I just bluntly didn't.
I mean, basically, Age of Mythology is also this.
Well, that's Egyptian.
And Vikings and Greeks.
But Sam, where does the samurai come into it?
That's irrelevant. Why would you bring up Samurai, Al?
Because it's the thing that we were talking
Yeah,
about.
you're gaslamping me.
I'm gaslamping you, right? Okay. Thank you. I didn't know that. Sorry, I just don't know the meaning of these words like gaslamping.
Yeah. I had somebody call it gaslighting the other day, which is just, you know.
No, why would they call it
I mean,
that?
come on.
They don't know the meaning of the word, Sam. One of my friends still plays For Honor sometimes. Do they, is it a good game? I seem to remember people being really hyped about it. I just can't remember if it was a well-managed game or not. Let's try one.
Was it honourable?
Well, I don't know. I didn't play it. That's why I'm asking.
Wow. I'm asking Chow.
Well, okay, well, it seemed like you're asking me.
I mean, theoretically, it could be both. I put it out into the ether.
Yeah, what's Schrodinger's question? I'm only asking the person who, you know.
Yeah, we've got Schrodinger's team in Weibo. Do we really need it in a question as well?
Are Vikings out already? Yeah, Vikings are out already because they lost both against Nongshim and versus NIP. The NIP loss was
rough.
There's a lot of controversy around it because their internet went out because there was a huge storm in Vietnam at the time. So obviously that sucks. It's not. It is technically in the tournament rulebook that if a gameplay changing thing happens because of an internet outage, they won't remake the game because I guess they don't have the ability to chrono break, and also it would screw the schedule if they added an extra game in. But it does suck, and it won't change the fact that it leaves a sour taste, I suppose, that a lot of Vietnamese fans kind of aftertaste here. For Honor was alright, cool concept with decently high skill. Don't think Ubisoft promoted it well. Well, that's a Ubisoft concept.
Sounds like Ubisoft, yeah.
Yeah. I miss when Ubisoft actually made good games, and then something happened. I don't know what happened.
I still want to play Star Wars Outlaws. I just don't know. I'm just not paying full price for it. I heard they improved it fairly significantly.
Really? Because I heard that Star Wars Outlaws was kind of meh.
Yeah, well, so the issue was basically the stealth part of the game was not fantastic.
Right.
And they did improve it with some patches.
Which is crazy because Ubisoft are very good at stealth stuff with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So Assassin's Creed Shadows has the unfortunate reality of living in a world where Ghost of Yotei released in the same year, and it's basically just a better concept. Oh, hang on a second, that's a pretty good dual angle. Yeah, that's even more than that. The flash dunk range, not quite.
We can't quite get that. Nice idea. Diablo survives though.
So close to getting that dunk in. Diablo, good escape from him.
It's going to cost them plates too, and the Cull's about to cash in. Shogun's about to be a very rich man.
Yeah, what? He is a Shogun, Sam. I respect it.
I don't know. I've seen weren't there some quite poor Shoguns as well?
Yeah, probably. That's probably true, actually. So, funnily enough, so I played through Ghost of Yotei on stream over this last week. But before that, I was playing Ghost of Tsushima. One of the fun things about that historical point in time for Ghost of Tsushima, which takes place around the 1200s, like 1250s or something like that, is when the Mongols invaded. You know, the samurai fought them off, but because it was a defensive war, the shogun couldn't offer kind of like any reward because they hadn't taken any land or any money or whatever, because it was a defensive fight, and it meant that he kind of had to deal with like a whole. That kind of led to the downfall of that era, of that shogunate, because they're like, yeah, we actually can't pay you for, you know, the battling you've been doing.
That's unfortunate.
1274, not 1250. Thank you, appreciate you. And then I think the next one was 1281, then maybe.
Raptor, I think he might be in danger here. Can try for a supreme display of talent, perhaps. He's inside the Cataclysm, which is not great against the Kiana. Gets over the wall, nice escape, but can they do any damage back? Kati is low and does go down to an Ixtal.
Oh, clear!
Edge of Ixtal's the one. Clear gets out. Shogun just about kills Raptor, and they do turn this around relatively well, actually.
I mean, it's still a two. I mean, Clear just did some ridiculous work there on the Renekton. Got into the backline, managed to get out somehow. Two for one. Silong flashed to tank the fourth shot of the Jin ultimate and died for it, but get yourself a support that does that for you.
Hey Alex.
Hello.
I've got a great parody game for you.
Yeah.
What about Ghost of Tsushima?
Ghost of Sashimi, as in the sushi.
Yeah. And so you just have like a game about vengeance against fish.
Isn't that Dave the Diver?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Literally, yes.
Oh, by the way, that is an interaction with the Kiana ult that you might not know. Kiana ultimate will stun you if you're stood in an element of her type, so that's kind of, that also includes river and brushes. So even though the ult didn't hit a wall, it still ends up stunning because you were stood in the river. It's super broken, and it ended up getting Kati killed.
Do you have to have it attached to your blade at the time, or is it just in general?
No. Just have to stood in the river on a brush, and it will stun you.
That's quite strong.
It is very strong. Weirdly. I mean, most of the time you still want to get it against the wall, because the wall is what gives you the extra damage off it. It's the wall explosion goes kind of hard. Vikings will win late game if they maintain gold. I'm just kind of worried that Braum can't save you from a great Kiana-Orianna combo.
Yeah, that could get quite nasty.
Yeah, I'm just kind of worried what happens if, you know, Rakan Shockwave kind of goes wild, and, you know, Wolf's Shockwave will find them all. I believe that's how the call went, because, you know, Wolf made that play that one time.
Clayton's about to drop into the DM, so how dare you.
I love how Captain Flies has to defend that call every time it comes up, because like, yep, no, it's the Shockwave which is the important bit. I'm like, yes, it did the damage. However, Wolf was very unhappy with them.
It's great fun. Clayton's a very good sport about it, actually. He has some good fun with it.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Flowers are good people.
Flowers is very cool, but I got to hang out with him a little bit around MSI 23. I don't know him that personally, but occasionally we trade some messages here. Kratos is going for a big old angle on the Udit. That's a dunk.
And he comes the quickness, try and turn this around. Good battle dance angle. Oh, the Shockwave after is solid enough though, and they bring down the Orianna, regardless of the attempted defensive ult.
Yeah, it's like a confetti ult. It's like, wee, that looks
I'm
cool.
dead, hooray!
Hooray! I have died. This is you know, this is the funeral decorations. Oh, just about misses the ult there. Kati was looking for a good trade on Diablo. 3 grubs for BFX means that their pushing potential is pretty strong. They do lose that turret, but they got first turret beforehand in the bot lane. Does he have the full inner turret? That'd be an insane amount of gold to pick up for a player in just that one lane. He does, cool. Good for him. Is Vikla still a good player? He had a in his first series versus Nongshim, had a pretty bad early game on a Talia, and then picked it up very well in late game. I can't remember the other game in that series. What was the other thing he was playing? It was a 3-game series. I'm struggling to remember. Vikla's been fine. I would say he's struggled at points, but it's not been, you know, not been awful, obviously. Oh, he played a he played an Ari game as well. He played an Ari game. Right, should remember that one. And he played a Rise game. So he's played Rise, Ari, Talia. What else did he play? Oh, no, I can't remember the second series. Vikla got better in playoffs, but before that he was pretty bad. Right, gotcha. You're gonna buy Yotze next Wednesday. You're so excited. It's a good game. It's a good game. I just finished my playthrough. The final boss took about 70 attempts. I beat the optional side boss in like 2 attempts. So I was like, oh yeah, I've got this nailed. I did not have it nailed. It was a long, tedious effort. It was a good game though. I would suggest playing it. But I will say, I did prefer Tsushima. I did prefer Tsushima. I think that's my first instincts coming out of it. Vikla has improved significantly and is objectively a valuable member of the team. Sets up very well for Diablo, who has the tendency to int randomly sometimes. I mean, obviously, the more I hear about Felix, the more I hear about Diablo's fantastic. This team is just about Diablo. But of course, you have to have a supporting cast to support someone like that, right? And yeah, Vikla was very, very exciting in his debut year when he came up onto KT Rolster. KT Rolster was the big team where he kind of made his break on it. He was trading time with Arya, who came in from DFM on 21. So that was 2022 he debuted in. Is it as good as Tsushima? Look, in terms of... they're strong for different reasons, Blade. I think you're... Hang on a second. Might be a play here. Raptor does have a decent amount of damage. He has 2 items. Raptor could flash in to confirm something. Kratos trying to get that whole Udyr distance rolling, because as soon as you get out of melee range, you'll just, you know, continually run away. Udyr is really hard to catch, as, you know, D-Gates would have you know. Braum goes wide. Diablo does have flash. That's some pretty fancy feed from Diablo there. W out, gets the ultimate down. Not sure about the curtain call. In fact, it's immediately cancelled. Diablo will close the curtains very quickly after opening them. Great sidestep. Great sidestep on the Braum ult there. Oops.
发条也2件暴力装都做好了。
Raptor is actually pretty good too. I liked Raptor. God, when was it? Was it last year when I was watching him? I was a pretty big I enjoyed what Raptor was doing. Saw some comments in chat the other day that said that Raptor wasn't doing so well, but I can't remember the specifics of that. Herald just cancelled. Oh, what? Okay, I missed that. Apparently the Herald cancelled the curtain call there. That was an interesting one. I missed that one. Yeah, okay, folks, okay, that should tell you how tired I am. I did just completely miss that Herald cancelled that. My bad. Yeah, okay, everyone in all 3 chats is letting me know that. Good job, everyone. Turns out that doing 12-hour streams for the last 3 days has been a bit taxing on the mental. Okay, Atachan's alive. Very close in gold, actually. 3 kills on the Unari. You know what? Shogun could carry this. Yeah, if you manage to flash out of Shockwave and or Kiana combo, I think Unari could carry this, you know.
那这样的话，小龙也已经刷了 ，BFX 好像有点想直接过去动小龙。那这样的话，孤蕊是不是可以往上靠啊？左边这个 C 位其实配合打二团的
Kratos about to get 2 items, I think. He's pretty close to it. Yeah, he has Fimbulwinter now. Udy's at a very big point of power with that.
会连推了2波线，这波是真得开，先开个扫描过去。
But Diablo is 17 years old? Wow. Crazy level of form for such a young player. Okay, Atachan started. Decent objective damage coming. God, still on Vikings! Of course, we need to know where Godgwar's predictions lie. Okay, BFX teleporting in. Is this a flip? This might just be a full flip. Play going in. Atachan secured by Vikings. That's a massive Renekton. Oh my god, the Renekton Kiana damage is insane. Okay, you get the Atachan, but at what cost? Very good turnaround from Kati, which gets 1 back. Is that 1 back? Yeah, Diablo's coming over. I think Diablo might just kill him, folks. I think Diablo might just kill him. Kratos has a decent amount of HP. The 4th shot. It's a little bit scary. Raptor goes over for a bit of combo. That's insanely good work from... Oh my god, the Axiom gets him a second ult. The Axiom gets him a second ult. So Raptor just had an insane ult. Gets, 4 assists and then ults at the end of the fight. Jeez, I love Axiom when it's actually, a strong item. Oh, funny as hell. Axiom value, folks. Who are my dark horses for Worlds this year? Well, who are your favorites, right? Favorite is Genji. But who else are favorites, quote unquote? I mean, I guess BLG are not dark horses. They're kind of like, they're contenders. So I wouldn't, because dark horse to me is someone that would be overlooked but could win at a dice roll. Or is dark horse just not the favorites, but I don't know. How do you define that? I don't. Unironically, CFO are not a bad team. I mean, yeah. Some people saying CFO in chat. CFO are not a bad team. Do I think they could be dark horses for Worlds? I don't know if I'd call them dark horses. Oh my god, he flashed in for the shockwave, and this is just an insane wombo. Is that a full 5-man Kiana roll? It is. That's a full 5-man Kiana roll. Jeez, insane combo from Fearex. Top 2 teams in the world are Genji and T1. I mean, T1 did go 5 games against Genji, yeah. KT is a dark horse. I mean, in the same logic, IG would be a dark horse if KT are, but because they're just ridiculously inconsistent but have a high roll. Okay, I need to think about that a little more because I'm actually it's very hard. Hang on a second, clear over the wall. Let's get the E reset. We'll slice in, dice out. Oh, bloody hell, he just evaporates! That's meant to be a tank, by the way. That was meant to be a tank. He has died. Guri's dunked in and has died very, very quickly afterwards. Raptor has had an insane game. Shogun's flashing in. Unara damage. Gets the Brawn passive down. Ooh, sidesteps the Gen W, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Damage is already done. BFX way too far ahead. Raptor's damage on this Kiana is utterly insane. So I will say people saying that T1 isn't close. Look, T1 did go 5 games versus Genji. So I'm not going to say that they're not in the running. Of course they are, and I think they're a very good team, and I think that people should be afraid of them. Should be. Baron taken by BFX.
有可能会让自己从中游刃有余的，但没想到就是自从那波让鳄鱼飞起来之后。
If BDD took Victor's spot, I think BFX would be such a strong team. I think BDD taking almost anyone's spot in the world would make them a very strong team. Yeah, T1 and Summer weren't fantastic, but they did have a very, you know, they did just, their most recent best of 5 was, you know, the 5-game series versus Gen G, so, you know, keep that into account. I mean, BLG might be dark. Yeah, maybe BLG count as dark horses. I don't know whether people would say they're too good to be considered a dark horse, but BLG have had so many issues over summer as well, despite winning the LPL. I mean, BLG. Yeah, I think BLG may be coming as dark horse territory.
左边现在打团约安娜死的话，就真的没有输出了。光靠会一个人不够。
Exactly, Hans. It's hard to call a first seed of LPL a dark horse, but I think LPL's in a little bit of a weird spot right now. Bro didn't watch what Dogdam did to Diablo. No, I wasn't watching as much LCK this year. No. Oh, sorry, did you mean in the first series of this tournament? Yeah, I mean, Dogdam had a pretty good series in the... losing my mind. Sorry, Jiwoo was in the first series, not Dogdam. Ugh, what am I talking about? Top Esports is a dark horse that passes people underestimating the current level. I just don't trust Top Esports internationally. I just don't trust them internationally. H-League technically did have a 5-game series versus Gen G at Road to MSI. Yeah, but then obviously in summer, I feel like Zeka is really not playing fantastically right now, and also Zeus in playoffs was just a little bit off too. Oh my god, that's some damage. Hang on, that's not bad from Vikings. Managed to take down the Jhin, so the 80 carry's gone. Bot lane's both dead now. So that's 2 for 1. Guri died, finally de-engaged. Good damage from Vikla. Has 3 items. Shadow Flame in there. Right, I'll take some decent damage to clear. How you doing, Sam? Yeah, Sam and I had some... Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Kratos going in towards top side. Clear might get the kill here, but will Kratos... Well, is he going to have enough time to buy that damage? I don't think so. He'll run away from his top lane, and
will become murky.
Yeah, he's obscured. Expedition 33. Yeah.
Obscured Expedition, that's fantastic. Clear obscured.
It's clear obscured. Yeah, did you know that Clear is actually up for Game of the Year this year, folks?
Yeah.
Clear Obscure.
Have you played Clear Obscure?
No, I haven't.
You really should. They're actually releasing some free DLC
So
soon.
I do, but I also need to play Hades 2. In fact,
yeah.
I think the next game I'll play on stream is Hades 2. Because I am a wow, that was an insane combo. Kati's doing so. You know, the Atakan fight, it was overshadowed by like a 5-man Kiana roll. But Kati did have a ton of good turnaround damage.
Did Vikings have a good Atakan fight? But it looks like they've owned it themselves, Atakan. So
no. They got the Atakan and lost all 5 members. Godguo is still... I mean, Godguo is still favoring Vikings.
For some reason, I heard Kiana and assumed Vikings were playing it, despite the Kiana very clearly being played by BFX.
Yep. Yeah, The Sims on stream. Yeah, but then I have to play 2,000 euros or whatever to get every single DLC for The Sims, you know.
It's quite a lot.
It's a ton. You know, there are some people which, you know, do make their whole lifestyles out of Sims. I mean, I guess people have done that for worse things, I suppose.
League of Legends.
Yeah, true. This has been a very good Kiana game, considering that LCK typically loses with this champion.
Very true.
It was something like, what was it, 0-7 in LCK, I think?
It was not fantastic. Which is wild to me, because I've seen it pop off at so many levels of play.
I think this Kati guy was in GAM at some point. Yes, he was. Was it last year or the year before? But yes, he was there for a year or two, yeah. And Kati's probably been the best Vietnamese mid laner of this era. There's well, apparently there's a new mid laner coming up for Team Secret Worlds, Dyer, who's apparently pretty good. And there's also a guy called, before that guy called Dia1, who was really, really good, but he was match facing, so he got banned. So
yeah,
that sucks.
he and what felt like half the damn league.
No, he wasn't on GAM in 2020, he was on Team Flash in 2020, and he was there for 2020 and 21. I think he moved over to GAM in 22 or 23. Bloody hell, the damage.
Oh boy, yeah, buffers through some of the CC, has to flash out of the curtain call, right? You're in a tricky spot.
It was a good flag drag. Managed to buffer out of the CC. Pretty good from him. So there is Baron Sol coming up for BFX soon. It's a look, folks. BFX is 6,000 gold ahead. They do have an insanely fed Kiana who is 3,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, you've heard of SFX, Alex. And BFX. You heard of
BFX.
BFX.
What are the effects that they are doing? Because VFX is visual effects. SFX is sound effects. What's BFX?
It's
You're really thinking, I can tell.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of something that's not just straight up crass.
Beating effects? Yeah, it's
see what I mean? I said not something straight up crass.
I mean, it could be violence instead of the other thing you're thinking of.
I don't know what you're thinking. Get your mind out of the gutter.
I was thinking you were thinking of the other thing, Sam.
I would do.
I would only assume.
I am a pure maiden.
All right. Shut up. Guri was on vision around the corner. They don't realize that there's the water of that wall. I guess that's where Guri engaged from before. Dragonstone went under a minute. You can see the Vikings are very much kept into their own side of the map. Never forget GAM top esports. Yeah, we were talking about it the other day actually, because Tien was flashing the top esports logo at GAM as he beat them. It was kind of funny.
Gets attacked by a Hui. It's okay. Doesn't go on another expedition.
Right. Because, you know, he'd have to go on like another 32.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I mean, technically it counts down, I know.
It does, but I say, strictly speaking, the other way around.
Yeah, but I find it funnier that way, you know. Who would even do 33 expeditions anyway? You know, it's a lot of expeditions.
It is.
10 seconds still drag. Oh, trying to catch out the giant.
Oh, that's a big shockwave, and Kratos is in the middle of making sure no one else is getting on over here. I think that might be a game winner.
Yeah, they managed to kill the Yunara. Yunara was the win condition. Kellen forced the flash. Shockwave finds him after. That will at least be Dragon Soul, if not the game.
Shockwave finds none of them at all.
Sam, it hit 3 of them.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think of cool lines to not be
no. And Kellen's quickness will find them all.
Yeah.
You know, every time a Ricardo Oriana play happens now, I'm just going to start shouting out the Ricardo instead. Just to fuel the fire, because I find that funny, Sam.
Yeah.
Ugh. Funnily enough, for me, I've also had to do tax work recently too. It's taxes are a pain everywhere in the world. I hope you've not enjoyed, but I hope you've survived doing your taxes for your job. Barons are getting started, so BFX will get themselves Soul and they get themselves Barons. It's not the end of the game, but it's basically a victory lap after this point.
Do you think BFX will, in order to curry the favor of God, change their logo to a grasshopper, become BGX?
I don't think they'll do that, but maybe they should. Oh, the Jin W hit. That was... I'm surprised that hit, but then again...
Z-axis things.
2.5D game. It doesn't actually... This game is not actually a 3D game, but it looks like it is.
Fake 3D.
Yep, 2.5D. Whereas visually it's a 3D game, but in terms of the actual mechanics of the game, it's 2D at an angle. What if I made merch? I don't know who would buy it. Problem is, like, making merch is a problem because you need to sell enough to actually make it a worthwhile investment. It would be very cool if I did, but maybe a plan for the future. What I need to do is just make my own version of that one, like, Sakura hoodie I have to pull over. That's kind of like the iconic hoodie I have. Anyway, BFX are walking in with the Baron. They'll, maybe it's Baron effects, Sam. Maybe it's Baron effects. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Oh, we figured it out. Thank you, Alex.
BFX stands for Baron effects. They're going to crush through the mid lane inhibitor turret. That should be dead pretty quickly.
They go into a cataclysm and then flag and drag out. Unfortunately, the curtains are getting called on them, and it's a lot of fabric, and they don't really know what to do about it. They'll blow up a Rakan, but unfortunately, Jin is on a triple kill. They actually might be looking for something a little bit more. Shockwave just wide. Diablo looking for at least the Jin Penta, maybe the whole damn thing. How aggressively to BFX want to hunt for those extra kills over the end of the game. Currently, it looks like they're more interested in the Nexus turret, but here comes that fountain dive. Looking for more value. There is the Orianna stealing it, and now, unfortunately...
It had timed out. It had timed out.
I don't care. It's the principle of the thing.
BFX will take first game. And, yeah, in a series, because Genji, I think, are favorites. And I think... I mean, you have to say T1 because they went 5 games against Genji and was very, very close. I think you have to say that they are probably in there. Despite them being a 4th seed and having a bad summer, I think they have to be in there.
Yeah.
H-Lee didn't look fantastic in playoffs, but are still, at least in finals and stuff, so I think Genji were clearly the better team than them, obviously. But I suppose they're also in there. I mean, maybe... The thing is, though, I'm trying to judge... It feels a little unfair to call BLG quote-unquote dark horse because they are still LPL champions.
Yeah, I think...
So I guess they're contenders slash top cut.
Yeah, I'd say BLG are contenders top cut. I think you're then looking at a group of teams, which is probably something like HLE, Top Esports, Anyone's Legends. And if you really wanted to go, like, if we see... summer regular season IG, and if they beat T1, the moment if IG make it the main stage,
put it this way. I think whoever makes it through from the look, the easy answer is whoever makes it through the play-ins match is like in contention. If IG beats T1, they'll have some time to scale up, and that team does have a very high ceiling. But like they need to recover form
because they're summer playoffs.
Their early games are really rocky, and Rookie wasn't on great form. It's like he needs to recover that, otherwise they're just not going to be contenders.
And Wei was getting done in by any jungler with a decent plan.
But I mean, jungling is a team sport, but yeah. Top Esports are genuinely quite a fun team. Again, Top Esports, they just have to somehow overcome like the international holdups that they've had, because that team just... I mean, I believed in them at first and I thought they'd break the curse, but that obviously didn't happen. Bot lane and jungle kind of did not function in the way that they wanted to.
I mean, legitimately, it was something ridiculous. Like JackeyLove had the worst KDA of any player in the tournament, not
which
just
sucks.
AD carry. Not just AD carry, it was just atrocious the amount of death, which you can't have as an AD carry. You just can't. You know that KDA isn't the be-all and end-all and is often used as a bit of a fake stat, but you know sometimes it is quite indicative of performance.
I think he was dying. I think at the first part of the tournament he died something like five times a game on average, something like that. And like, look, we know that JackeyLove was very good, and I think regular season JackeyLove I think was on. Well, he was the MVP.
Indeed.
He got his first regular season MVP. Playoff. I mean, he did make it through to a 5-game finals. Top Esports. I mean, that's the other thing too. You can say, oh, well, BLG, they're clearly, first seed of LPL. Top Esports did go 5 games against them in finals, and they could have very much won that. Anything interesting happening in this early game? Well, we did have the Taeyun swap again.
And actually got the Blitzcrank up. So it's actually just a straight-up lane swap, interestingly now.
Oh, it's 3 minutes out beyond that now.
Had to Bellows Breath that one. I think Clear might have wanted to Bellows Breath the other direction, but did get the Brittle proc off that. But that's a rough start now for the side of Clear. Kratos here on the Rumble has decided that he's got the power of gods and anime on his side.
Top Esports were exhausted at first, and also I think what really didn't help was the fact that they were actually very good at the lane swap meta of Winter Split, and then that got removed at first stand, which really rocked them in their preparations. Their early game, which was very, very good before that, was not nearly as good.
And those small margins make a big difference against the best teams in the world. It just does.
So Kratos flashing away, but it's still going to get hit by the Zenith Blade. Raptor comes through, lands the Q, and that is a dead Rumble.
Vikings, give me this wave, my soul is yours!
I know it's a very memed upon moment, because it's an older game, so maybe some people forget it now. There's that one moment where Kratos has to, like, button mash to let go of his daughter in the Fields of Elysium. A lot of people are like, oh my god, you're doing a quick time event for, like, letting go of your daughter. Like, it is worth noting, that is a harder quick time event than killing the gods. It is which honestly I think is really, really cool. What that showcases that it is harder for Kratos to let go of his daughter and his family than actually kill deities. Which is honestly, that's some really cool symbolism. I like that.
But the core tragedy, of course, is the fact he does.
Yeah.
And there's some, actually, for me, I actually think that games 2 and 3 completely undercut the message of game 1 still.
The old PS games. Yeah.
Because obviously the game 1 is effectively a self-contained Greek tragedy, like
True.
Like in the literary sense, from a play perspective, whereas games 2 and 3
Yo, Kellen's been everywhere here.
He has been. In fact, so has Shulong, but that's still going to be a lot of value. Now actually decent charge into the wall and Kratos gets knocked up.
And I have to say, I have really enjoyed the more recent God of War games too. I think on an emotional level it's very intelligent. The warrior becoming a father, it's a very interesting one. Raptor doesn't have level 6.
God Fist Lee Sin versus Rumble. Is this an unfortunate matchup for Lee Sin?
Kratos is losing this one.
Yeah, but he survives.
That is true though. You did pick Godfist Lee Sin into the God Killer.
I2's fist.
Yeah. There's a bloke on TikTok and short content and stuff who I think he's I don't know if he's a psychologist, but he has like psychological education training. And he kind of like breaks down a lot of God of War and also stuff like Red Dead Redemption and how like emotionally well written they are. It's very cool. Oh, Flash Forward Kellen didn't have the flash himself. Flash Forward Zenith played earlier. Gets caught out. Is it enough damage? No one's coming to help him. He actually might make this out alive, you know?
This is crazy value.
There was no one coming to help him. He just walks out by himself.
Where's Kindred marks at? Got 1 mark.
He has 1 on Lee Sin if he does come to the play. Diablo is on weak side of the map. Support teleport. So Kellen survives. Goes back, teleports back in, takes a load of damage off the Style Shield, Hex splashes over the wall.
Look for the rocket punch, gets it, and there's the last auto, but there's a barrier burn, is not enough, and Diablo survives. Kellen with the Shield of Daybreak slow, out comes the mounting Dread, but the Dread's just not all that frightening right now. Hang on, Kati's coming on over, they've realm warped in, but that means that Kati's in a 1v3. Oh!
Void Seeker! Diablo goes down. He was so close to living because he had Vamp Scepter. The Vamp Scepter saved him in that fight. I was like, oh, he's gonna die in the last tick of the burn. No, the Vamp Scepter actually saved him before that. Damn, that was so clutch. That was very close. So that's... Vikings another solid early game versus BFX, which I thought that with Kellen being everywhere, that BFX would have maybe gotten more out of this early game, but, you know, Vikings are holding their own.
Why? The question I need to ask is actually there's a Call of the Forge God happening on top of Kratos, and unfortunately for Kratos, he did have to deal with Hephaestus. And that was a very tragic moment in God of War 3.
Oh god, they picked the Forge God into him too. Truly and crazy decision making. I mean, who else? I mean, you'd have to pick what else? Like Aurelian Soul. Who else are real like godlike entities? Anyway, that's someone just stood around the corner.
They don't know he's in there.
Look, they know that someone is there because they were checking the brushes. They just didn't check the alcove.
Alcove gaming.
But that means that Vikla can now flash forward and get a root. Oh god, he doesn't have cleanse. Oh, that is actually very underwhelming. I thought that would have led to something. All of Targon? Not well. The aspects are kind of weird. Like the aspects aren't really good. Oh, by the way, So I mean, this is the play just before this. The Vamp Scepter saves his life because he goes down to such low HP. Vamp Scepter ends up saving his life. I'm pretty sure the auto attacks there would have made the difference with the lifesteal. Yeah, as Sam was alluding to before, as the snipe comes through. So Mount. Oh, he almost blocks it. Close. Callan's dead, by the way. And that's a hook.
Killing his horn. Vikla now needs to try and run away, but there's still the ability to Killer Instinct forward. Style does have flash. Will try and proc it. Last auto just out of range, and he burned the flash for that as well. Style 1 EY.
What? Style 1 E.
That's what his name is.
Shut up, Sam. Torn in mid lane. It goes into the hook.
Not bad. Shulong will ensure that Diablo has to bullet time the wave in rage.
Oh man, that was a great combo. Like, damn, Vikings are 4-1 in the early game. 1.5k up. Guri has 2 marks. Does he have a third one coming up soon? Oh, he does have a mark on Raptor if it does go into a bigger fight. That could actually be a problem. Guri does have ults.
Guri's got a decent amount of work done. Don't see what... I think what the name was, Rune. He's actually running one, so whether it was Conqueror or not, but either way, does get a decent chunk there. Gets to survive. Phage value very high there. Lee Sin could be a bit of a nightmare for Kindred.
Just backtracking a little bit. Mount Targon is effectively the lore of the Eldar Phoenix Lords from Warhammer 40,000.
It's true.
Because in Warhammer 40,000, the Eldar, which are an ancient empire, which is, you know, their soldiers, their specialized soldiers are called Aspect Warriors. Where have we heard Aspect before? And their leaders are called Phoenix Lords. And what happens to them is they take on like the true epitome of the aspect of their Aspect Warriors. And if they die, they can be resurrected in the armor and someone else takes on the Aspect. Which is exactly what happens with the Aspects in Mount Targon. Also, interestingly enough, a Games Workshop writer, who are the company which make Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000, joined Riot around about the time the Mount Targon lore rework came in. So that's my conspiracy.
That's it. Hero's entrance. Boom. Looking to jump on forwards, and Raptor has to go ooh and leave. Ooh. You do it better than me.
I have practiced from time to time.
That doesn't surprise me.
Galliot was actually used fairly effectively there. And you know what? I was saying Vikings basically have 0 engage. They're doing quite well at finding picks for having basically 0
relatively
engage.
good target access, I suppose.
Do they?
I mean, Equalize is very long range.
Yo, that's your engage.
Forwards, and you just have to hit the skill shots is the answer. They can't kill Diablo though.
Diablo also has ult.
Yeah, I think Stylee might be in trouble.
Stywani, you mean?
Oh! He used the wrong way. He tried to bounce it through Shulong, wasn't
He just clicked the wrong target.
I wasn't sure if he was just out of range and needed to bounce it off.
No, the Kai'Sa was actually slightly closer. Oh man, that was... Okay, that was a bit ambitious from Stywani, from Style, and Sealong. Diablo had both summoners up there. So realistically not going to get a kill. I guess getting the summoners out of Diablo is kind of big, because now suddenly Karti, when his next flash comes up, can just fly in and try and get a flash torn onto him.
That he can. Well, there's still a 20 CS lead actually, Diablo, who is laning very well on this Misfortune so far. In comes the Zenith Blade, and Kratos will go absolutely not eat Flame Spitter, nerd. And on top side, bit of a dive and turn. Clear eats a fair chunk, but they won't end up getting anywhere near the kill. Trinity Force is complete for Guerrilla. We'll note he's also got 3 marks, so 1 off the big time. Namely Mark 4.
Raptor's still on the bot side. Sealong does not have that many teammates nearby. There is a Kratos, though.
There is a Kratos. Do you need any more teammates when you've got the God of an animate? I don't kill him until there's a kick! Kratos through his teammate.
Very close to landing the hook there, by the way. That would have been really quite worrying. Sealong, by the way, still, I mean, folks, oh my god, guys, we're 12 minutes in, and Kellen and Sealong have only just hit level 6.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
What? Aren't they meant to do that at like 7 minutes sometimes?
That's kind of wild. That is kind of wild.
I mean, when you've got the support which rushes the most XP is Delight. Delight on HLE will get like level 6 for the first kind of grubs fight sometimes. Occasionally, like you'll leech the next waves to get level 6 for that. That was a big thing which happened at Worlds 21 as well. When Damwon beat T1 in World Semifinals was partly because Beryl was soaking XP from mid waves as Maokai support to get Maokai out for Herald fights,
which was massive.
Super cool. Oh yeah, Vietnam does have a team at Worlds. Team Secret Worlds is a Vietnamese team. So there is a Vietnamese team at Worlds,
and they're a good team.
Yeah, they're fun. Apparently they are very feast or famine, according to Bastion, which is
very true of Vietnam in general. To be fair, what they've played over the years, style eats a bullet time, and that's nice, John.
Yeah, I have to say I'm not the biggest believer of Misfortune in the current meta. It feels like it's quite hard for her to get value later in the game, but as a controlling pick, which kind of just keeps someone locked in lane or keeps them low HP and keeps auto pushing, pretty good still.
I think I mind the Misfortune less when your team comp isn't obligated to have the Misfortune ult be a killer ult. Like, it's like when actually the Misfortune ult is a way to win a team fight rather than the way to win the team fight. I think it's too easy to interrupt. I think it's you're not as lane dominant as you once were, so actually your value out of lane doesn't kind of help that one out either. So
that's a very good way to phrase it. I like that.
And actually, when you've got the Rise, when you've got the Lee Sin, it's not a bad position for it, to be fair. And I think the other thing is then you can start using your bullet time for poke, for control over the mid lane wave, and that actually is keeping Style down quite a lot of CS and control here as well.
Yeah. And Style being fed is quite important to Vikings. He is ahead in terms of gold, but he could be a lot more fed if he'd actually gotten more access to farm and stuff. Prediction, I mean, BFX coming in as heavy favorites, despite the fact that Vikings did go very, very close with NIP. Most of the LCK teams will be, at least on paper, favored at the start of a matchup. And currently in this game, Vikings, their comp's pretty hard to play, especially in 5v5 later on. Later on, even if you do find a quick pick, it does feel, you know, a good Solar Flare, a good Call of the Forge Guard, buys a lot of space for BFX to kind of rearrange themselves and counter-engage. Sam, you organising your Magic deck while you're casting?
Yeah.
What's happening in your Magic deck
So
right now?
I've got a...
Is this your Mono Black Sephiroth?
No, it's not. I've done that one. That one's done.
Cool.
This is the other one I was kind of half built and haven't quite yet.
What is the other one?
So I've got Yunara Hope of Spirit, which is Enchantment Saga deck.
Okay.
So all your summons. So it's a summon deck.
Oh, Yuna, not Yunara.
Yeah, no, did I say Yunara?
You said Yunara. I was like,
League of Legends.
Is that like a Planeswalker?
I was playing.
Diablo doesn't have Flash for now.
He does a fair amount of dodging. That's not bad going. Bloodthirster value's good. Equalizer adds on top, and Diablo is still alive. Oh my god, he had the barrier shield to work with as well. Clear finally trying to go down. Flash and Guri will get that one. They don't kill the Misfortune. The bullet time to clear the wave is solid enough. Will likely die for the trade of the wave, but does so. Realm Warping now under the turret to punish the dive onto the Misfortune. Lamb's spike comes on through from Kindred and stops any further follow-ups. It ends up being a 2-for-1, I guess. Is it even that? It might be a 2-for-none, actually, in favour of Vikings, but the turret stands.
It was a 2-for-1 because I think Shilong died amongst that.
Yes, he did. He's just respawned by the looks
Diablo
of it, yeah.
choosing to throw the ult, clearing the wave, meaning that the mid lane turret stands afterwards. By the way, first turret still hasn't been taken, like 16 minutes into the game, which is quite late for most of these games. Vikings, though, credit to them, really managing to punish Diablo just as his flash was coming back off cooldown, so he couldn't use it to escape. You'll see that again in the replay. Diablo's a little bit separated from the team, doesn't have the flash just yet. It's a good disengage attempt, though, from BFX. Managed to slam everything onto the Blitzcrank, get him out of position. Diablo does survive, and yeah, this is the problem that Vikings are going to have later into the game. They don't quite have enough CC to finish off things cleanly, so they have to really scrap for one fights.
Do have a fair amount of damage and just raw, like, I can just keep running at you with flashes, I suppose. And when you've got Kai'Sa and Kindred, who've got quite a lot of mobility, the Rumble with the Equalizer, you can just say, screw it, I don't need CC when I can just burn you alive. It's a bit of an IG strat, that, though. They tend to go more towards significant mobility in their champions to enable that.
Dragon's up, so BFX will be looking for their third one, which should be, you know, a threat of a soul later into the game. Diablo does have his flash. That's the biggest cooldown available, and on the other side, Vikings have 0 flashes available to them. Vic looking to take top lane turret. That would be second turret of the game, because Vikings took the bot lane. No, bot lane? No, they took top lane turret at some point, right? Okay. As we angle towards the dragon.
Dirk in inventory for the Kindred, so it's actually hitting quite hard at this spike. It's about the biggest spike this build on Kindred gets in a lot of ways, because you can stall out here for a very long time if you don't keep rolling.
Hang on, Sulong. Hex flashing forwards!
Oh, my days. Strut value too big. Just base move speed on Misfortune if you've got hands.
Happy feet, happy feet. Yeah, Guri's not on a bad point of power right now. But yes, after the Dirk, it does feel like you really do start to fall. Because one thing about Collector is that you don't get any extra lethality from completing the full Collector item.
No.
You stick on like 12 lethality. That's it, which is not the best thing ever.
It is a very nice build.
Oh, hook over the wall, gets onto Calendars, onto the Leona, pretty tanky.
He is, and then comes the hero's entrance. Style immediately ults to very little avail. Nice enough, gets him into a potential position, but now we can't get around the
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Hit by the Sonic Wave, but again, it looked kind of fun, but didn't lead to anything, and now you're down a big ult. Make that 3.
You're literally only playing around Blitzcrank hooks now. You have no, I mean, you have an Equalizer. I don't know, Vikings, this is the problem with their comp.
Well, that time comes on down, will zone Vikings off a little bit. The Equalizer does come on down, doesn't really get that much value either. Watch Kellen on the flank, look to get onto Style, and that means it's a bit of a dangerous position for the Kai'Sa. They're going to jump on forward. BFX, maybe that's the angle. Vikla with the Realm Warp into the backline, begin to throw down some Spell Flux and some overloads, and continue to melt their health bars. Fantastic fight for BFX, and I hate to say we called it, but we called it.
They don't have enough engaged. They use their ultimates pretty ineffectively before this, and ends up being a 5-for-1 plus the third dragon for BFX, who pull very far ahead in this game now. And that wasn't even, you know, a fantastic bullet time or anything. It was just closing the distance, and Vikla and Diablo just kind of putting out a ton of damage. Raptor, very clean fight from him again. I think Raptor was very hard done by to not get MVP in game 1, so maybe you can fight for that this time around. Equalizer's okay, but not even then, it's not even really what they want there. It takes them a little while to get into the fight. The Realm Warp is surprisingly very good here. Spell Flux goes wild here, by the way. Vikla threatening so much AoE damage. Splits up the team as they try and get away from the, what's it call it? The Spell Flux, that's the one. As, yeah, and Lee Sin really starts to thrive in those kind of fights. Kindred ult bugged. I mean, Guri didn't pull the trigger, right? Well, it's not on cooldown. God has chosen BFX now. Has defected. No, not chosen death. It's defected. Chosen BFX.
Well, that's slightly more disappointing, isn't it?
Well, not for BFX, it's not.
That's true.
BFX stands for bug effects.
Of course it does.
That you might think that's a fox. No.
That's a grasshopper.
It's a grasshopper with you know, very, I don't know, very big ears.
Why? What big ears you have?
All the better to hear predictions with.
Did you just drop it all?
Huh?
You just dropping all the better to hear predictions with.
Yes, Sam,
wow.
I did.
Wow.
Sam, you just said what big ears you have. That is the big bad wolf thingy.
Yeah, it's true.
Where do you think that comes from?
I actually don't remember saying that, by the way. I think I just said that.
Yeah.
My mouth went without my brain's permission.
I said, well, it's got very big ears. You said, why? What big ears you have? So I said, all the better to hear predictions. That was the okay, we've now just replay by play something which we said like about 30 seconds.
Can we break this down with the telestrator now?
Sure. There's probably a herald we can do that with at some point.
True.
Vikings, I don't know. I don't think they can really approach much areas on the map now. They're down 2k, trading out bot lane turret as it stands. They have 2 grubs. Galio's going to start taking that. Atakan's started.
Okay. Atakan down to half. Shulon goes for the hook. It's onto the Ornn. They can probably kill him off, but their flash will keep him safe for now. Watch Kratos with a potential equalizer angle. Raptor will safeguard to keep Diablo safe, but is hit by another Void Seeker. The Mounting Dread was also stacking on the
Battle Herald. Battle Herald style!
It's started on the backside. That's how you get the Galio in. See, I told you! That's how it works. The problem is he's going to potentially die. That Landred fight times out. And you may have mentioned that you just group up in Landred fight for bullet time to murder you all.
What did Style just do? Kaiser just moved to the backline 1v5.
His mod's telling him no.
I can't.
But his body's telling him yeah.
I can't. I mean, Vikings, I know you're out of the tournament already, but come on.
Kaiser Jenkins.
Jesus, man. That is ridiculous. Driving into the inside here.
Oh, wow. I'm in awe of just what I've just witnessed.
Yeah, in awe of the size of that lad. Oh, I can't believe it. That is just ridiculous.
Well, I did say that this was, like, admittedly, very facetiously, but this was going to be the best way to get your CC in there, was just Kaiser ult in and bring the Galio to your enemies. Which, in fairness, was cool for about 2 seconds until you took so much damage getting over there that it became very problematic. That yes, you were in a land respite, but Diablo didn't die. And then there was the great issue of the Battle Herald into Misfortunal. Also, credit to Diablo, who avoided all of the CC by getting into the Herald, getting out of the Herald, bullet timing across everyone who gets out of the land respite.
Guys,
that's very nice.
It's just a Diablo diff. That's just a Diablo diff for that one. I mean, that's insane. Like, we did see the Herald being dropped, and I was thinking, it's probably a Battle Herald. For it to then have that much value, insane.
Saves him from Kaiser and Galio, and then everyone's piled forwards in a land respite for him to bullet time. I mean, it's just
so funny. Yeah, where were you when Diablo rode into battle on the Battle Herald?
Just Diabled all over him.
Just Diabled all over the man. Do you ride Heralds? Oh, I Diablo from time to time.
Oh, no. Diablo, no.
Huh?
That's just Diablo. No.
Oh, no, yeah.
He said, see, there was.
I get that now.
I can be your angle
What
or
is
your
that?
Diablo.
Wait, what? Why? Okay.
Guri needs to flash. Vikla will try and run warp away.
Diablo does have flash. He might be able to. Oh, Kratos.
No. Vikla's gonna show him the meaning of damage as we'll get a shielded around onto Vikla, but I don't know how easy the damage will be as actually the Rune Prison comes on and has to try and ult forwards, but it's not a one-person Icathian Rain, and that means that the spread damage keeps Vikla well and truly alive, who's also insanely fed this game. Diablo just blows up the Blitzcrank. Guri is now in a 1v1 with Kellen, which I think he's actually going to lose here, potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. Just Collector versus Steel Caps Eclipse Leona is not the most fun experience. While all this is happening, by the way, BFX are going to maybe kill an inhib. Okay, nice cue of the wall. Nice job, Clip.
And they'll turn back towards the dragon. That's all as well.
That Soul, I would have thought that would have actually been an inhib, but I guess not. Death time is not long enough. Cloud Soul now earned, which means it's even harder for Vikings to land the engage, and BFX massive advantage. Been a short game so far, 24 minutes. BFX, pretty good at League of Legends sometimes, aren't they? Fun team. I'm enjoying this team. I think Diablo's been really fun to watch. And you know what? Raptor between Kiana and then the Lee Sin here, he's had a good series as well. Been enjoying watching his play. So 9,000 gold ahead. Almost still on the red buff there. Not quite able to do so. Raptor will secure enemy red buff. And Raptor will say, nope, this jungle is mine now. I will take that farm. It's not yours. Go away. Try again next respawn. Touch clear needs to work on his headbutts. Did he miss another one? I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been paying that close attention to the Ornn gameplay.
That's true. Ornn has been, for all that it's a god versus Kratos, it's not really been Kratos' day, has it? Fun fact as well. The word democracy actually has its roots in Kratos. It's Demokratos. Kratos, of course, was the Greek god. Was it chaos?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what Kratos was the god of. Not the God of War option, and now we've had a lot of damage.
Oh,
that
that's
was
a
nasty knockup. Flash, searing charge into the wall. Lee Sin gets the Kindred, and unfortunately death comes for us all. Even Kindred, Catty, about to get jumped on as well, and will die to the Lee Sin. He may be blind, but ain't missing those. It's obvious even to the blind monk.
I have enjoyed watching Vikings at this tournament. They'll walk away, you know, with some hard feelings about the NIP series, and I do absolutely understand that. I have enjoyed watching Vikings, and I will remember this team fondly from ASI. BFX will knock them out of the tournament, and they will move on.
GG.
Well, okay, Vikings were already knocked out technically, but our last game here, rather, for Vikings. But no, honestly, I think
Super surprising there. Phase rush for both mid laners, that shouldn't shock you. That looks pretty normal to me. If GAM win, tell Nymaera to dress up the GAM girl, please. Oh, see what can be done. He is one of the GAM girls.
第一条小龙土龙，还是常规的站位啊，这蓝色方都已经养成习惯了。来到1分多钟的时候，中野抱团。
Been demolishing. Apparently, IG have been demolishing Genji and HLE like 5-2 and 6-1s in scrims, according to Kitty. Damn. Damn. I mean, we've always known IG actually have been pretty well respected within the LPL. They just played very poorly in playoffs.
果然这里也是做了一个换线的处理，卢锡安一个人往上路站。
卢锡安站上，然后从野区的角
Righty then, time to put the social slideshow back on.
可以看到猴子是否在上半区开。
Boom.
先点个2箱，
不知道点的是什么。
骸骨已经消失了。
Reminder to like, follow, subscribe for those of you who haven't not done the shill yet, but please do come enjoy our gameplay and who we are as people by supporting us via your wallets.
I should have done that thing where I got a coffee, but I didn't.
Alright, do you want to do that for you now?
Sure, we have a Taeyun swap, says she was bot lane, her name is top.
Yeah. My personal read right now is GAM basically got Rumble, Jarvan, and Ryze as their first three, and I'm going, well, that's a disgusting top side.
Yeah.
And then they fourth pick Lucian to D+ here, and then they go, cool, well, we will Caitlyn Braum this, and you have to, and then they've run Rel into that, so it's melee support into Braum and Caitlyn, which should bully the Lucian out in lane early. So I think good early lanes, better team fighting, better side lanes. Skirmishing's a bit more mixed, but I like GAM's draft.
I like GAM's draft as long as Ambessa doesn't hit an important target that we're not.
Very fair.
If you get like Ambessa, Orianna, or Rel, I actually think both comps are very good. I think the problem is if DK do manage to ping someone with a good ult,
It can be really scary.
either Rel or Ambessa, or even just a Flash Cyclone, like maybe Rumble or Caitlyn just explode, maybe. But this is a competitive draft. Like there are teams for both teams to win. I mean, GAM have very long range engage where you have the hot pot coming in from just a mile away. You can have Realm following up on that. You can have the Ice in the Hole too. For DK, yeah, if they manage to thread the needle, get their good ults on target, then they definitely have enough damage to pick off the first target.
Yeah, my worry is like there's a reason why they've Taeyun swap because they need to get out of the Caitlyn lane for the Lucian route, which will suck. But I worried for the Lucian early lane. I worry for the fact that I think side laning Ryze and Rumble will probably be better overall than Ambessa Orianna. Not that Ambessa's a bad side laner.
Rumble's pretty... Yeah, so Orianna's pretty... Hang on, going for a dive here. Braum Pass is getting stacked up. Shiwu has been dying so much on sides. It is a 1-for-1. Shiwu has teleport as well. Caitlyn gets the kill. Not the worst that it could be for Shiwu. Shiwu, the last time he played Ambassador, actually, when they lost to Weibo, he got dunked on side lanes, actually. Dive on the other side, as is customary. One top laner gets dive, so does the other one. Kai gets a little bit of damage down. He's very much going to die, and he will not be able to trade back a kill in his own side of the map.
Here, actually.
Yeah, I think they come out a little bit ahead from that. Obviously, kill going to both AD carries is important. First kill for Caitlyn has funded the Dirk, and we have a quick pause now. Reminder that because GAM are playing for Vietnam, sometimes the internet's based on the weather there right now. Because there was a storm in the last few days. I don't know whether that's changed things. It might be a peripheral issue instead if he's holding his headphones like that. Anyway, we'll see what exactly it is. Quick pause and we'll get back into it.
对的，这是19版本啊，还没有经历过20版本的修正。
14号打的就是20版本。
对，14就是20版本了，所以20版本这样的越塔情况不会再出现。
这19版本打到现在的这个末期，都已经知道前面要怎么样越塔了。而且这几天的比赛看起来，就是你前面短手的上单跟长手的 AD 互换，打到个3级、4级，然后辅助镜像的去到那个上线那个半区，
所以说
就直接越了名牌。
上单这个版本是比较没有人权的。太容易被越了，但这种是死局必死的。
Lucian Pro is quite surprising considering he got nerfed back to his previous dash cooldown back to when he was never picked. I think just his early lane is still very strong. There's a lot of good pairings for him, and having a mobile AD carry right now, especially in a fearless meta, is quite important because you can't pick it twice. So I mean, what are the safe AD carries you have? Xayah has her ult, but she's not always mobile. You have Lucian. You have Corki, Kai'Sa, Ezreal. There aren't that many, you know. Maybe a couple more than that, but going through a full series, Lucian having a strong early lane, good mid-game spike, pretty good, pretty good.
主要是曙光瑞尔多，就女警蜘蛛的话，一般是3-4把会多。
And reminder, the winner of this series goes through. Loser here is out. For those of you who didn't catch the context of this.
就是越人的组合千万万，但被越的。
Only issue is that Siu has been pretty bad at playing tanks. I have to say I don't know enough about the recent gameplay of Damwon to fully comment on that. And to cast it so much LPL basically. Siu, start of the year and midway through, it was awesome at Ambassador, one of the better Ambassador players in the LCK. That being said, last time he played versus Weibo, was really hurt by just getting dove over and over, had to play from behind. I think he ended up being something like 5k behind something by the end of the game.
其实想越塔是很难的。
你看似它是一个反击风暴，但其实感觉它是一个可以给你回个100-200血的治疗术。
对，因为会有200-300的伤害打不到你身上。
对。
Let's move my mic around a little bit.
还有个眩晕啊，对方。
Anything interesting happening on the map? Lane swap right now. Lucian Rel topside. Rumble laning into it. Bot side got the Caitlyn Braum pushing in. Caitlyn being even in lane. Don't love that for GAM. Artemis has always been a big Caitlyn player. Tried to get the free trap there. Couldn't quite get it. Very hard to hit a cap trap unassisted as Caitlyn. With the arm time. Ooh, Kiai's getting zoned out of this wave, which is a bit annoying. Does do some decent damage back. Gonna try and dive Shu on the other side of the map. Okay, Shu does not have ultimate yet. Has level 5, has flash. Oh, Braum passive comes through. Fire Drag comes through as well. And Shu will get the repudiate. Artemis gets out of tower range. Uses the barrier. Q misses. They're waiting for the next cooldowns to come through. No flash on him now. No teammates are coming in. Shu very likely going to die here. Who takes aggro? Levi. Well, is it going to be another 1-for-1? It is. Shu 1-for-1 in both dives so far. Will not be able to protect the tower though. The standard does drop down from Levi for the extra attack speed, I believe, towards the end of that. With 3 plates being taken topside. Caitlyn headshot obviously applies to that turret as well. Nasty amount of gold being given over. Tristana seems like an alternative to me. Yeah, I've seen a couple of people playing Tristana. I think it's a little hard to play through lane. Hang on a second. 3 people on topside. Kiai flashing away now. Aiming taken very low though, and that means that they don't have the damage to stick around, I don't think. With aiming so low, so Kiai will be able to pick up that wave. 500 gold difference between top laners, by the way, because she did pick up 2 kills now in dives. Teleports out of our supports. Beryl immediately using his down to bot lane from the spellbook.
就是你得稍微做一点在塔下的时候能生存的装备
啊。他这把这个选择是焚天。
Beryl does have flash. Artemis doesn't have barrier. Maybe could have gone for a bit of a nasty trade there. Any bit of CC lands and Shu can follow up with the ult, which is scary. Don't think it's hard to force the Caitlyn ult actually now at this point with Ral Ambessa being so threatening. Tier being stacked up on both mid laners. I wish the Ruination event was better. League for so many years. I just thinking about Lucian, that's why I'm thinking about Ruination. League for so many years really struggled to get players onto the same, not players, champions onto the same page narratively. Having like a world-ending threat, which made a lot of sense, right? Viego's threat in the Black Mist did make a lot of sense. It was a good way to actually tie a lot of characters which had never interacted with each other before. That was good, because League at the end of the day is a lot of very self-contained stories. Not all of them have to interact with other vast other parts of the world. But then Ruination sucked. But the premise of it was fine.
这里 AD 对碰起来的话，还是会女警更痛一些啊！打人，快到7级了，身上带个巨石短笔。
看两边打野谁先到了，现在。
Quite worried. Oh, nice Knight's Caliber net there. Slows down aiming means, oh, flash in from barrel. Heal and flash used by the other bot lane. Levi getting engaged onto, that's a very dead job. Dunks in. Lucid is now stuck in the Cataclysm. What's happening in River? Shit, Lucid gonna die? Could be flash followed with that. Oh, no, he's not gonna die. He's just gonna kill Ares instead. Alright. Lucid just gets a double kill there. Did he get some help from Showmaker? I guess so. Must have been the shockwave coming through. So Levi and Ares getting a little bit diffed there by mid-jungle of DK.
然后这样的话，下路组换中，加上上一轮赢团的后续 ，Lucy 的是有空失重的，对，至少是2重。
Artemis smurfing? Yeah, sorry, I was too focused on the mid. Let's watch from the replay what happened there. So I missed a little bit which happened with the bot lane at that point. So this is the jungle fight. We saw this. Oh, am I not going to see the bot lane thing? I guess that was on screen. Yeah, Artemis playing well on the Caitlyn so far, on the whole. I like Artemis. Artemis has forever been a very good Vietnamese AD carry. There was a long time where Artemis really could have been on GAM. But, he was on other teams. Like, he was on Cerberus when Cerberus were very good in the VCS, for those that remember that team. GAM were weirdly a team which didn't have a very strong bot lane for a lot of their career. They were playing around jungle top a lot of it. And then they brought in Artemis recently, and that's really given them an extra lane to play through in a way which they didn't always have. GAM's bot lane was not their focus of their team before. And it can be now. It can be. Lucid 2 kills. That's scary. Yeah, I'm a little bit afraid that the Ambassador and the Wukong both have 2 kills now. What do you guys have the most banned champion worlds? I think I had Rumble as most banned. I think I had Rumble as most banned. I think I had most played as Alistar, most banned as Rumble. Artemis and Doggo are both genuinely underrated ADCs to me, but both have been on scuffed teams often. Well, Doggo, I mean, obviously Doggo's from a different, technically a different part of the region. They're both LCP, but, I mean, Doggo was on, he was on a couple of good LMS/PCS teams. Then he really... Oh, yeah, he was on... Doggo was on BLG for a bit, right? As well. And he wasn't bad on BLG. He actually ended up kind of trading spots with Uzi, who came out of he came out of semi-retirement for that team, and then Doggo ended up being the AD carry they actually played with. But then Doggo, I don't know, hang on a second, there's a flash potential from Showmaker if Ares walks up. I mean, Ares could just die here to a QW. Doesn't he die? My dude, so easy for Showmaker. Ares had no right walking up there. He was trying to bait him in to go walk into Levi, but he should have, Levy rather, he should have really waited. Ah, easy kill for Showmaker. Gets out safely too. Ooh, flash out of the public execution. Barrel's coming down, but I wish she were not following. Can't really get the damage down there. Doggo looked like prime Uzi for a couple of games at MSI. Doggo was also excellent when he subbed into PSG Talon back in Worlds 2020, I want to say it was. Because Unified couldn't play. Was that the year or was it 21? Ah, which one was it? Might have been 2020. Dragon started by GAM. MSI 21, that's the one. MSI 21, not Worlds, yes, because Unified couldn't play. I can't remember if it was health or visa issues. One of the two. I wish I could get that notification off the screen, but I can't. It's really annoying. old AHQ when they weren't super crazy. Beyond was middle of the pack. Yeah, Beyond Gaming was a thing. Yeah, for sure. Oh, BYG had frickin' Maoan who leaked draft strats for, well, some simple draft strats for publicly available Insta titties. He was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna pick Silas Oriana." Someone, so he was leaking like bettings. Oh man, what an idiot. It was for health reasons at MSI 21 that Unified couldn't play. Unified's one of those players who I wish had had a little bit more time in the spotlight, because Unified Kaiwing were actually a very good bot lane for a while around that era. I think a lot of people overlook some different iterations of PSG talent because they didn't quite make it. They were actually a very good team. Very good team. Look, I mean, it was for publicly available pictures, which were available on Instagram. I'm just saying, why would you throw your career around? I mean, people have done stupid things before. Oh, whatever. It was a weird time, that Worlds. Ares now going towards bot side. Ooh, teleporting in, not even using the Realm Warp. Lucid does have flash. Probably going towards Xiu instead. He doesn't have a flash now and will die. Xiu out of the equation. Ares gets himself a kill. He's been playing pretty well so far. I mean, okay, no, I say that. He did just walk up and just randomly die topside. Okay, at the tournament, he's been playing pretty well, GAM. Artemis trying to get that free. Trap down again. Does the Braum passive hits? Flash away from the Braum ults. Doggo's Aphelios? Doggo's Aphelios is sick, yeah, good point. Doggo's Tristana and Aphelios are probably the ones which I remember the most. His Ezreal's pretty good too. Who won the last series? It was Fearex that won the last series. Turrets equalized by GAM taking the bot one. DK took the top one a little earlier. Feats of strength over towards DK. Reminder that loser of this series is out. Appreciate all the follows, by the way. Sam and I have been streaming LPL the entire year because there's no official broadcast anymore, and we figured, you know, why not just keep doing it for whatever games we can. You underestimate the down badness of a League player? Yeah, okay. We're talking about the Maoan.
Oh, yeah, for the publicly available Insta-titties.
Oh, you...
I went off on this guy on a podcast with Karamoza.
Oh, yeah, it was so dumb. Oh, man. Anyway, because where that conversation came up from was talking about Doggo and how good he was, because we were talking about how, like, a couple of AD carries, kind of like Artemis and a few others have been actually very good at points, and how Doggo was really good, but then Doggo actually had some bad teams, and then we're remembering back to BYG. That was the whole train of thought, basically. Anyway, for those of you who weren't around at MSI, like not MSI, Worlds, was it Worlds 21, that one? I think it was.
What's happened since I've gone, by the way?
Couple of scraps back and forth.
Ares strong.
Caitlyn is strong, but also, I mean, it's not crazy far ahead of gold. Ares has had some bad, some good. Was very low HP. Walked up towards top tower where Showmaker just QW and ulted and killed him. That was less good.
Ares.
I know, but I prefer saying Ares because Ares and Artemis on the same team. It's better, like Sam. It's better branding. We are doing the favor a service.
Right.
The player
service. Ares, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm now with you.
Can you see the bracket anywhere? I think on Leaguepedia you can see it.
Yeah, if you look on your keyboard and you hit shift.
Aiming.
I think he's dead. There comes the Braum passive. Concussive blows are stacked. Artemis being trying to be donated the kill. Can't quite get in range in time, but nonetheless it will die. Herald was taken while that was happening. But again, DK, I think, already had the beats of strength.
They did, yes.
So that doesn't really mean all that much.
And now they get to keep DK away from the lane turret too. So they can keep chunking that down. They have one grub, not more than that. Lucid has flash and cyclones. They have some fight potential. Kiaya, Shiwi both have teleports.
I think I'd be a little nervous. Here come the teleports. The Magnustorm back is good. And that means Jarvan just dies. Cataclysm was already burned. Ares now in danger. Shiwu gets burned low, but not quite down. Will actually end up surviving, as unfortunately Kiaya does not. Not bad from Artemis though, who's using the bush to stack up headshots. Artemis, goddess of the hunt, continues to fire out the modern day bow and arrow. A flash command attack finally brings her low. The door comes up, but too little too late, and Showmaker decides to put an end and commit some deicide.
We can still find him though. He's not 4-0. Another assist for that one. Picks up a ton of damage at the end. Scrappy fight in the mid lane. DK come out of that just about on head though. Ahead though. Aiming was caught out before this, of course. We didn't actually. Aiming didn't get to affect that at all. This guy was dead for the entirety of it, so it ends up, what is this? Is this actually just a full 5v4?
It's effectively a 4-for-4.
5v4, talking about the fight numbers, not the actual amount of kills, in terms of, look, this is technically a 5v4 with both teleports coming in.
Yeah. That's the one, and then of course, you saw Kiaya trying to get the burn down, she doesn't quite get it, and then this got very deep, because reminder, guys, Caitlyn stacks passive fast as long as she's in a bush.
Yeah, you need 6 stacks or something, but when you're in bushes, you get double stacks, 2 stacks per auto. Very, very close. The 90 caliber net. Oh, he auto attacks. You know what? I actually think Showmaker might have died if Artemis had not attacked the ward, but attacked him, because he had the headshot loaded up with the 90 caliber net. That's just like one small net misclick. Maybe. Not sure.
Still, Caitlyn's now 1,000 gold ahead. There's the win con for GAM, potentially.
Yeah, but Oriana's now 2k.
Yeah, that was my worries. Then you look at the mid jungle, that Wukong is 1,000 gold up. The Oriana's 2,000 gold up. Cyclone plus Shockwave is some very nasty inclement weather.
1,000 gold in jungle.
Oh!
Good Shockwave. Showmaker is just bullying out the sidelines, and this is one of the things which I was saying before. You were talking about how GAM had good... Ryze is dead. Siru has solo killed Ares.
He has indeed, and that's a pretty big one. I was expecting the Ryze to be a bit scary, and they've just blown up that 1,000 gold lead Caitlyn, because the Wukong, who is 1,000 gold up himself, now picks up an extra 600 gold by murdering the bot lane.
The wheels are starting to come off now, and this is actually one of the worries about playing against an Oriana, because I know earlier in the game you're saying actually GAM has very good side lanes. I think Oriana is quite underrated as a side laner right now, because she can actually just QW poke you down and wave clear very effectively. I look at Rumble and Ryze, very effective. Aiming's getting dived onto. He's not going to die. It's a good attempt. Aiming does live, though.
But I will say Levi was doing that one a little bit alone, shall we say?
He was. There was no follow-up there. Everyone else is pretty much dead. Now 6k behind-ish. Dragon is available. This is the solo kill which came out topside. Phase Rush was used. She would get to gap close, and Ares didn't have the flash anyway.
Yeah, it does get a decent amount of damage, but of course there's still Eclipse Shields. There's still a lot of Drakehound stepping, and some Cunning Swipes and some Lacerates will do the Ryze.
Showmaker now has a 10-stack measure. It's the best item in the game, of course. Buy your book, folks. Visit your local occult library.
I mean, between Seraphs and Roa, this Oriana's going to be a nightmare to bring
If you think that your local library doesn't have one, just, you know, go and just... They do. Just keep pestering them for the local Magis. There should be a Shockwave on top side, Flash Wave and Kiaya.
Yeah, Kiaya also doesn't have a first item, by the way.
Huh?
Doesn't have a first item still, by
oh, that's pretty bad.
just a little note, guys.
Yeah, I hadn't quite noticed that. I mean, she was at 2 items because he skipped boots to get to them quicker, but wow, Kiaya.
Yeah.
That's a lot of gold to be down.
Yeah.
Wonder what each player would write in their book. You know, fairy tales, you know, their diary.
It's just like me,
their shopping list.
Burns.
Elliot does have W. Doesn't do enough though. Heal, I don't think he even heals, he just straight up dies. Okay, there's so many picks coming through from down roll now. D Plus are just consistently picking off members. God! He's still staying with the Marine.
He's decided, he started initially with a very, very firm vote for D Plus here. So, it clearly is trying to bless GAM here.
Guo bless. We need a Guo bless emote now. And maybe Guo curse.
Blessed be the Guo believer.
Blessed be the grasshoppers.
Blessed be the cheesemakers.
I said this fun fact the other day, but did you know, chat, that grasshoppers are 5 times older than grass? Yep. What did they do before that? I mean, imagine being the first grasshopper to discover grass. It would
oh my God,
it would change everything. It would change everything. Guo is just lying. Exactly. Guo is never wrong. He's either correct or lying. That's gonna start it up. I don't really think you can test it. She was on a great angle here, but he is a little bit separated from the team.
He's a little. Elio's coming over, but again, this Braum is not especially tanky. He overcomes Levi. This might get become a flip, but Levi is stunned up well enough by Beryl. On the other side, Ares is trading out with Shu, who is doing a lot of work. Out comes the Sundering Slam, the Cunning Swipe. Redemption's going to come on forward. Will heal up the 2 solo laners a little bit. Beryl and Elio not having a fantastic tete-a-tete as Shu comes in to mediate. Those trap lines are pretty nasty, but it's the clones that end up taking more damage, and I think GAM would have liked Lucid survive the ace in the hole with a Redemption topping up the HP he loses.
So it ends up being just outscanned for nothing. A little bit of chunk after that, but nothing else.
Like some chunky.
Like some chunk. Modal. You say it double.
这种时候就拉掉就行了。
Their money. Moto. Say it again.
左边现在就是打团的时候，他们的输出目标
That song weirdly got very popular on TikTok
It
recently.
did, didn't it?
Yeah, was it Will I Am that did that song? I think it
Feels
was.
like it probably was, yeah.
There was a point where Madagascar was genuinely like
Everywhere.
it was everywhere. I feel like we have somewhat. Hang on, there's a public execution which completely misses. He's been now put off of death row for a little bit, maybe.
Maurice, they're coming for me. Let me leave.
Stop him! He has scissors and hand cream.
Have you seen any of the TikToks where like Maurice sort of loses it and starts threatening King Julian's feet?
What?
Have you not seen these videos? Like it's
maybe.
like I feel like it's like
Sam,
DannyPhantom.exe.
I feel like we are on very different parts of the internet for that one.
It's like well, you know what's that kind of the Joker music where like the strings start getting more and more concerning in the background?
Well, isn't that? I thought that was the Homelander theme.
It might well be the Homelander theme. That one makes sense.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's Homelander's.
No,
thing.
it's not that one.
Okay, I don't know.
It's the slightly discordant strings.
Sam, okay, I don't know that then, Sam. I don't know.
Because you know when you've seen like that Joker Batman low pony.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that is just from the Dark Knight.
Yeah, it is exactly. Yeah. You know that string sample.
Funnily enough, that uses a particular trick in physics to make it sound really unnerving. Shiryu getting caught out in side lane in a 2v1. Does have flash. Get out of the Cataclysm.
Quite a lot of mobility courtesy of the passive and the ability to do the Drake Hound thing.
Okay, so the physics trick, which they use to make it sound really unnerving, is they just keep sliding all of the notes up and up and up, so one goes out of the range of your hearing and one comes up into the range of your hearing. So it just seems like it's continually going up. She was going to stop the back. Does he die for it?
He might do, but it's going to allow them to keep shoving through mid, so his life potentially for inhibitor. All the while, they are going to get rid of Artemis, which is a pretty nice pickup in the mid lane. Good trade from D+ Kia.
Okay, Shiryu says, alright, I will die to stop the back, so you can go take the inhib. Maybe a worthwhile trade there, I think. If it did, I mean, I suppose if Kaya had made it back alongside Levi, they wouldn't have been able to find that. D+ Kia breaking the base.
Go back towards top side, push that wave in, look to reset, get some gold, and it's looking pretty dire here for GAM, I fear.
Yeah, I think ever since that fight in the mid lane, the wheels have somewhat come off. Yeah, it was so close to Artemis picking up even Showmaker there as well. Very, very close. And this is why everyone loves GAM. Like, even if you are a third-party viewer with no attachment, even if your team is playing against GAM, people find GAM entertaining. So this is the fight that we missed in the mid lane. Wow, they used the Wukong as a ball delivery system. That's pretty rare. We've seen some fun ball delivery systems in this one. We saw a Kai'Sa one earlier in the tournament as well, which was really, really fun, where Kai'Sa just shockwaved them into it. Fantastic.
I've always found Wukong to be an underrated ball delivery system, because he can be invisible for large portions of it. He's got loads of ways to get over walls, can add his own CC chains in.
I do think he needs flash a lot of the time. And look, if you need flash to really be a good ball delivery system, I don't think you're actually a very good ball delivery system. Yeah, you can be good, but it's not quite the same. Like, Lee Sin technically could be an Orianna ball carrier, but it's not fantastic, right? It's just a little inconsistent to reach the targets you want.
I don't know. I feel like Wukong's better. Is not as flash reliant as some. Between Warrior Trickster, and I think you are reliant on getting a good angle with your invis being off vision, to be fair. But yes.
Yeah, because the W doesn't last as long as sometimes you think. Okay, so this is now, what, still 9,000 gold leave for DK, bunch of items. They got a stopwatch onto Showmaker as well, so even harder to kill him off. And this Jarvan is just not a threat. He's even gone towards cooldown boots to try and have quicker second flag drag up, and that's just not helping him be tanky enough to survive the dive.
No. Starax maybe, but at this point you're looking at this Orianna and going, yeah, well, that's a lot of Magi stacks, and all of the, that's triple defensive items as well. Like, how on earth do you kill this Orianna in good order?
It is the StarCraft. Is it the StarCraft logic? Where it's like, when you're ahead, build defensive. When you're behind, build damage. Well, he's ahead, so he builds the extra bit of defenses and paid off for it. That being said, the problem with League is that sometimes you have to kind of see what's coming next to then build appropriately. Like, you can't foresee that. Oh, at 25 minutes, you're going to be really far ahead, so I'm going to build Saros Row, because you need time to stack them up. Baron's going to get started by TK. I don't really think they can test. They don't have the vision. They can't really approach that safely. There is also potential of a shockwave threatening them if they go towards it.
Baron started and very swiftly finished. D+ Kia decides to commit a little bit of noble title stealing. Levi actually managed to find his way pretty close to the pit there in a way I wasn't expecting. That shockwave back though. Showmaker taking a mercy, aiming at least gets one, but I think Kiai will be trading there. Ares needs to leave. It's a triple kill to Showmaker. And it'll all be rounded out by aiming, picking up another. Everyone from GAM falls, and D+ Kia offer GAM losses after they come and contest the Baron. Resignation letters accepted.
D plus GAM, clean snowball after they got ahead. A couple of worries in the early game. GAM did get some decent skirmishes, but GAM will lose in a fairly quick game as the snowball got really too much to deal with, and D plus K will end with a 7-0-7 mid laner performance from Showmaker on the Orianna. Really hurts DK.
Yeah.
If Nico gets a good engage, it really hurts. So I will say, look, if the game is slow and the engages aren't clean, I think it's better for DK. If it's Nico finding key targets, I think it's GAM. So it's competitive enough.
Yeah, and I look at D plus Kieran and go, look, if you can just riff off the power of your early skirmishing, because like every single one of your champions can just fight early with Karma backing them up to do silly things, and just rely on individual prowess, you'll be just fine. Your pick is still really nasty. But I think if it does come down straight 5v5s, even in the mid game, Galio, Nico with Shyvana throwing insane poke out can get pretty tricky.
I want to see how Showmaker's going to play the lane. Aries getting the pokes there from starting E. Galio often does win a lot of the more higher range matchups by just starting E, getting the slap onto them. Galio passive, very, very strong early levels.
So, of course, you've got to be able to use it before Zoe, Oristi does like to play and poke you from a little ways away. With a good early counter-strike.
It is worth noting that before you get level 6, Zoe can get punished by gear jumping on it. Especially if you're a little bit tanky, you can shrug off the a little bit of damage. Getting hit by the bubble basically loses your trade, but you can play outside of that quite well. In fact, there are some ways where if you dash towards Zoe, and you get hit by the sleep, and you get your taunts, you can do actually quite well at kind of tanking the bubble with the taunt, and then get them to proc the sleep with an auto attack because they're still taunted into it. It means that you take a lot less damage. That can be quite powerful. Showmaker going for the airy build as well. We occasionally see the electrocute Zoe. In fact, I think that's more common nowadays, but I think that when you're against a tankier laner, and against stuff like the Yorick in a side lane too, I think that the airy adds up the damage over time a little bit more effectively.
Likely. Bit of a shove now on that bot side. Out comes the boss bomb. Bit of a chunk. She will leap striking forwards. Not quite there with the empower reset.
Has Doran's shield. Got the HP regen in. Q under turret. I mean, I should have enough HP now. That's pretty good.
I get caught inside the Dark Procession. Will have to use the leap strike out on top of the
good steal
board, and there is that steal on the blue buff. You're absolutely right. DK trying to leverage as much as they can. They are really playing with fire here to some success, it must be said.
Across all leagues, 13 games across all leagues, and I guess in tier 1. Damn, didn't, yeah, so, oh, hang on, blocking out on that Q with the, that's a lot of damage from here. Actually, might be able to kill with Flash Q if there's a little bit more poke in.
I think she's going to have the back on this one. A little bit unfortunate for them.
So, when Yorick first came into meta, often Yorick was winning against the Jax matchup. Across the year, I think Jax players have gotten better at playing the matchup. Yeah. I think also Yorick got hit a couple of times in nerfs too, but still, Yorick is still worth considering. Particularly in LPL, it felt like Jax was actually becoming quite a considerate threat.
Yeah, it really does feel that way. Really does feel that way.
Oh wow, 13 games across all regions, including Tier 2. Jesus, yeah, Zoe has really not been played that much this year. That being said, again, for the reasons we mentioned before, Zoe has just been struggling to deal with a lot of dive. I mean, there's been a lot of Nocturne Vi around for the last however long.
She also just lost a lot of her wave clear. Like, she just had, like, no wave control.
Also, her items were not fantastic, really.
True, yeah, a lot of the...
Oh, sorry, Shyvana, 13 against Shyvana, right, okay. Zoe, again, pretty rarely played, though. Miss Night Zoe. Night Zoe at Xiaohu Zoe is also very, very good. Yeah.
Scouts, for that matter.
Look, on a personal level, I don't like Zoe. I really don't like playing against Zoe. She's really annoying to lane against. And she's just, it feels like some of her gameplay is just so ridiculously hard to deal with. But very flashy seeing the big damage number go up.
Under the sleepy double bubble allows for a very nice Sonic Wave resonating strike combo. Aries is left wishing he had a few more S's in his name. Aiming.
Ooh, jumping forwards. Corki does pretty well. Has the level over the Kai, so the Frost Bomb doing crazy damage there.
Rank 2 in it, so it does just sting that little bit more.
So one of the big changes that happened to Corki a little while ago now was that they increased the missile speed of Frost Bomb. If you remember back to about Season 3 when Corki was always in bot lane all the time, very, very regular pick. That's a melee minion. The Frost Bomb was almost instant. It was very hard to dodge, very, very high damage. It meant that when SKT in 2013, when you had the Piglet Pumandu bot lane, they would play Corki Zyra because it was so easy to hit just Corki Q Zyra Q or Ezreal Q, and you would just lose half your HP in lane. They kind of invented poke laning back then. Wasn't as much of a thing before then. Shiwu taking more damage than I think he wanted to there, actually.
But trying to go for the proxy and get punished by Kiai. Doesn't it forcing Kiai to drop a minion or two though?
Yeah,
because of that.
He is 10 CS ahead. That's credit to him. Shiwu doesn't have teleport, but hey, getting a decent proxy there. Kiai gonna hold the wave. Can he stop the recall? Ooh, he can. Shiwu cancels it himself.
I'm not sure whether he needed to actually, but he will still get to reset off that wave. We'll slowly bounce back, so we should still be able to get back to lane and be okay with it.
I hope Zoe wins. I'm a Zoe main, and she's just so fun. People get so trolled by the bubble sound, punch the microphone, elbowed it, and her voice lines are so cute, like when she sings about chocolate cake. LOL. She's just super random, but also smarter than she looks, just like me.
Oh, how adorable.
It's great.
How adorable.
One of them is CFO versus Hawks. Don't know. I don't know why LCP counts as tier 1 because it is a tier 1 region. It is. There are no minor regions anymore. If it qualifies to Worlds, you are a tier 1 region. So there is LCP, Americas, EU, and then obviously Korea and China. But I mean, and if you look, I think CFO at first stand gave a really good showing of what the LCP can do as a region. You know, they took down top esports. They were looking really, really good. At that tournament. I think that CFO have been a really good team. Didn't they take T1 to 5 games at MSI as well? So yeah, I think that, look, I understand, you know, for many years, the LMS/the LCP was a little cut below for a while, besides the Flash Wolves in their golden era, really. But I think, at this point, you have to start considering LCP on a similar, I'm not going to say same, or it could be above or below, but I would say, you know, they're a similar level to, say, Americas and EU.
Yeah, exactly. They are a major region.
That means CBLOL is now tier 1. Technically, with LTA South, yes, technically they're part of the Americas as a tier 1 region. Yeah, that's the way that it works. Yeah.
Part of the idea anyway. Being quite as successful as I think they were hoping for with all that stuff.
Ooh, ult popped in topside by Shiwu. Trading pretty hard against Kiai here.
Does get a fairly good chunk there with the counter strike, leap strike, potential options as well. Won't decide to go forward. Levi is here with that ability to bring down a descending dragon. It's kind of funny because they jump into the air in order to descend. Like the
one of the funniest things way back before Shyvana had like a mini rework was that we're still waiting for the actual Shyvana rework, by the way. We've been waiting for like 3 years now. Shyvana used to have an interruptible ult, so if you just like CC'd her mid-air, you just stop the dragon's descent. It's unstoppable now, goes in towards Lucid.
Looking for that flame breath, can't quite find it. Ends up being a bit of a wasted ult there, I think, from Levi. Well, out come the grubs being started by GAM. Should pick up at least a little bit of time left with Levi as this dragon. Trying to get some value here while they're in the
Lucid
to the backside with a wonderful insect. Kiai now in danger, caught within his own dark procession, trying to use that as an escape angle to run away. But Levi now in danger, and Lucid just styles on him. Flash and forward from Beryl, looks to get another bit of inner flame going on down. It's another for Lucid, who's now 2-0. Flashing forward to Showmaker, looking to get value out of the spell thief. Goes and pulls out the paddle start. Artemis trading up with aiming. In comes the Galio, looking to find an angle. Flash away from DK, but already the Nico is dead. They at least keep Artemis alive, but everyone else gets fumbled in the mid lane.
Yeah, finally get ourselves some kills on the board. It was a pretty slow game. DK managed to get themselves a load of kills, even if they don't get the grubs. It's 3 grubs to GAM, but Lucid and Showmaker particularly show the power of the Lee Sin and the Zoe when the game becomes about those standoff around objectives. You see here, right, GAM aren't hard engaging onto the Zoe or onto the Lee Sin, and it means that they can fish for skill shots, fish for stuff like the Lee Sin Q, which ends up catching Kiai, gets kicked back into the team, and the Yorick really isn't much of a threat after that point. Showmaker unthreatened as well, gets to keep spamming through passives, Qs, and Es, and it opens up a lot of extra damage, which GAM couldn't shut down early enough. They need to make sure they don't do this kind of just fencing, standoff, sparring around the objectives. That doesn't work well for them.
That'll be it. They get a hell of a lot of work done there. 3-0 for Lee Sin's gone for the Eclipse, by the way. No Sun to Sky, raw damage.
In fairness, Lee Sin does occasionally flex between the two of them, and in a game like this, it means you can genuinely start to try and assassinate even someone like the Shyvana a little bit later on. Shiwu taking the gold lead, well, taking the matchup to Kiaya here. Gotta say, it's gold lead doesn't actually have one up in that top lane. Neither of the top laners getting involved in kills, despite the mess there. Lucid again.
Oh! Eclipse value does its work, and they managed to murder another member. Dragon's Rage required, but that is a very dead level 5 DP.
Yeah, Lucid leads in. Pretty good, folks. It's pretty good. Lucid. Gonna go in for another kill here. Flash away from Artemis, ulting back in. Not able to get the kill, but will survive for now.
But for how much longer? There's the Valkyrie into the kill. Gets the empowered auto off the Sheen, and easily done. 5-0 now for D+K. They went for the early skirmish comp, and they are snowballing just fine.
And if it's anything to go like game 1, really, DK, once they start getting that lead, just roll over games. GAM, they fought well in game 1. This time, they gave up those kills. Hang on, the extended bubble range not popped through here. Levi does have ult, and it's actually putting a decent amount of damage back towards Shiwu.
Showmaker might look for it, but decides against it. I think he was trying to bait out Levi to burn the ult. Doesn't. Levi now still here with the Dragon's Descent. Can theoretically interrupt that reset from Shiwu as well, but doesn't want to overshove. Looking pretty tough here for GAM. Courtesy of D+K snowball. Oh, nice bubble. But
you can't follow up on it. Sadly, can't follow up on it. That's one of the other problems about Zoe is that feels like you can't follow up on a lot of your pick attempts nowadays. But that's why the game needs to be a little bit slower. You need to be kind of given a bit of time around an objective. I will say though, down one back in around about 2020 to 21. I think they're the greatest poke team of all time. They're a little bit away from that era now, right? It's a very different team, you know, with Nogari and then Khan, of course, in 21 as well. Of course, when Canyon was on the team and really peak Canyon as well. Canyon Showmaker was a duo which kind of brought fear to the entire world. When they were playing stuff like the Zoe back then, it did feel like they were just a level ahead of everyone else of that era.
I wonder whether there's an angle, and I'm going to put this one out. SKT in Season 6, because they used to run no engage pure poke. And like no one else could do what they were doing, because everyone else is really struggling to do it.
I wouldn't say that
they were one of the few who were getting Jace to work really, really well.
Shiwu going towards Kiara as well, looking for the solo kill, and we'll get it easily. Kiara didn't have the first item. Well, it's not like Shiwu did either, but Shiwu really winning this matchup out. We did say that Jax players started to win against the Yorick as the year went on.
Indeed, got some really good value there. Yorick posts some of those nerfs, and Jax posts some of his buffs, feeling pretty nice. Lucid now bot side again. Ares might unfortunately be introduced to the war that is Lee Sin's foot in his face, but that will be Beryl getting chunked out by Levi, who will make sure the dragon descends, and Lucid saves another fight. Excellent
news. I think they can stay here. Lucid is really strong, folks. I wonder whether he can start jumping in.
No wave.
Maybe not. I think Levi's going to start clearing out the way with the ease. They're sticking around for now. I think this has taken too long. I think that potentially GAM could have brought other members to the play at this point. And I know I say that. DK, they are still keeping Lucid behind turret. They were thinking about it right up until the very end there, and they'll finally call off the play.
Just enough wave clear there. Spirit Shojin value on the city. Shyvana's pretty strong.
So the thing about the Season 6 SKT, just to go back towards that, I wouldn't necessarily say, and honestly the zero engage thing, I would have said that was more like Season 5, when it was the Sivir Karma with the Maokai top lane. That was the zero engage at that point. Because in Season 6, you started to get more of, say, like Echo Trundle top lane.
Duke putting a lot of time into Jace, and you had like the Jace Nidalee.
That is true. Blanks Nidalee was the thing there for sure. But I would actually have to look back at that. I'm not going to say you're wrong here because I can't remember enough of those comps. But when I think about it, I think more about Faker and Orianna at that point, or it was Orianna Syndra, right? When you think about that Season 6 semi-finals versus Rox Tigers, what a great series that was, by the way. If you didn't watch back then, it was an awesome series. But yeah, I think that down one, look back to 2020 to 2021, some of their games where they were standing off around the objectives, it just felt like they would take a small mistake, space a little better, and get a key skill shot which would end the game. Canyon Nidalee, Showmaker Zoe, you name it. So good at those champions.
Oh yes. He could carry jungle meta as well, where you could get the Nidalee to do some fairly horrifying things.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my god, yeah. Remember when it was like the Morgana jungle as well for Canyon? Nasty. Yeah, that was a good time. And of course, even then you had stuff like Nogari on stuff like on the Jace too. He's one of the best players of that of all time.
Indeed. Away we go towards clearing up some of these wards. Shu should bring down that turret and does so. Second turret for D+K, who are continuing to snowball very aggressively up about 5,000 gold now.
And it's spread across every single role. Yeah. Now, normally I don't like that, but given that it's a significant lead across every single role, it means that they can fight, say, 2 items to 1.5 on the other team across every single role.
Yeah.
that's where you really want to start finding your big fights when there's a big item discrepancy. Levi's had to be wave clearing through bot lane an awful lot here for poor
Ares can't do it. That's the problem. Then you look at the fact that the Zoe's now 30 CS up as a result, has got the upgraded Lucidity boots, has got the Luden's Companion. Looking particularly fun here. I think we're waiting on probably an next half item completion, and D plus Gear are going to start really hurting again.
For sure, for sure. I think particularly once you get towards Showmaker, Horizon Focus, that's where, which I assume will be the second item, tends to be for just the stat stick right now. That's when I think one bubble or one like this can be kind of scary. Ow! Yeah, that's before the second item, folks. Zoe things.
Yes, it is. A lot of work there. Top side. She was just jumping forward, trying to help do some damage to the Maiden. Levi now looking top. They'll have an idea that's happening. It's a decent little fight there. She will leap strike away. Levi will not Dragon's Descent, but it does mean that because Levi is top side, they can shove through mid with Showmaker. Lucid now here as well. Dragon's Descent being forced. Elio on a potential flank angle, looking for the Pop Blossom. Trying to Valkyrie away, is aiming to take a bit of damage, but just not enough. They don't have the DPS. Artemis goes on in, looking for that kill. Will get it. In comes the Galliot, looking for a little bit more. Beryl will flash away and survive. All the while top side though, it's a 2 for none in favor of D plus Kia.
So across the map, 2 for 1 with aiming dying in mid lane. Top jungle dying to Shiwu and Lucid though. 3-0 on the Jax, 4-0 on Lucid. Another bubble landing. Showmaker, good damage here.
Ignite afterwards with the Spell Thieves allows for that extra empowered auto. Shielded Ram for a bit of additional tankiness. Does give you some more resist while you're channeling it. Has stolen a flash, so can look to really extend the range here. Standing next to the walls like that next to Zoe, I'm not sure I would do that, folks.
Yeah, so this is the replay of the top lane, as Lucid really strong, gets a double E for the AoE damage there. Shiwu starts to jump in, and even though Levi gets the Dragon's Descent into it, it's just so much damage from this duo, who are ahead of their opposing numbers.
I think Lucid's a little unlucky that the giant Shyvana didn't connect with the Yorick there. That was nearly a very clean combo, just about a pixel shy on getting the additional damage.
Also, just a comment over in Onivia's chat as well. Wonder why no PCS were invited. It's because it was the 4th and 5th seeds from the LCP, which just so happened to be 2 Vietnamese teams. If it had been GAM qualifying and say, I don't know, PSG not going or something like that, it would have been them instead. It just so happened to be this was the way the seeds worked out. LCP is a combined region, and sometimes you'll get one part of that region and parts of another. Shiwu getting engaged onto maybe.
Levi going to get some damage down. She potentially jump over the wall here. Does have that ability to potentially use the wall, but just gets blown up, but not before. Of course, the Karma assist comes on in, and that's pretty good value. She just wins it.
Wait. That wasn't even the Karma assist. It was the Assault Karma kill.
Yeah, with the redemption, I kind of blanked on that. I would take it a little less.
The redemption and the Karma coming through. She was still alive, getting some extra healing.
It will surely fall to the Winter War and does, but that will allow them at least to get the turret top. So the problem is, look at mid lane. They are heralding into an inhibitor.
Oh, the game is completely falling apart. GAM trying to get fights onto Shiwu is so fed on the Jax. Only needs a little bit of help to turn things around. Looks like the Herald will charge in towards mid lane. Showmaker will tank it up to make sure the tower shot doesn't kill the Herald. Double charge from that objective as GAM really starting to bleed out in gold.
That they are. In comes the Sonic Wave. Can look for potentially a resonating strike afterwards. Does so. Nice pickup from Lucid. They can now look for the inhibitor. On top of everything else, this game is over.
Who do you even pick as MVP? It's got to be between Lucid and Shiwu, right? It's one of the two. Lucid was maybe more active early, but Shiwu's had some awesome Jax plays too.
I think probably Lucid. He's done more across the map, but I think she would have been a viable option too. Hexplate second, by the way, for the Jax.
Right. Damn. And Godguo has defected once more. He's given up on their GAM dreams. Sorry, Marines. D plus K is the Grasshopper's chosen now. A reminder that the last game of the day, folks, is Nongshim versus... who's our last team in that group? Nongshim versus NIP for our last team, which will make it through to the knockouts of this tournament. We'll have a 4-team double elimination bracket happening from beyond today. This is our last day of groups. Each team has played, will have played by the end of it, 3 best of 3s. Godguo, why are you doing this to me? Far be it from us to judge the morality, the motivations of Godguo.
Well, Grasshopper has chosen D plus Kia. Revel in its blessing. She will leap strike forwards. Comes the magic Q.
Fake out.
Has some fun with it. Lands the Sonic Wave. Flash, rocket belt in from the side of Elio to get a pop blossom angle, which is pretty decent aiming though. Flashes over the wall. They don't get the kill. And now Lucy goes into the back line. Immediately safeguard out. Showmaker with the flash looking for his own angle. Hasn't really had as much value since the mid game. It's a good trouble bubble that gets a big old chunk but no kills. That might do it. Sonic Wave just wide. Artemis and Elio survive the burst but don't get much more aside from their lives.
Yes, the rocket belt. I was thinking a bit the Horizon focus, but the rocket belt gives an extra threat of burst and different angle for the bubble. 2 inhibitors likely to fall now in GAM. I don't know if they can... I mean, they'll defend the base. The game won't end here, but they can't save either inhibitor. 20 minutes, both inhibitors out. Guys, Atakan has only just spawned.
This has been a demolition. It does feel like in some ways it's made it a lot harder to win by 20 minutes with the current state of the game. Nice chunk onto Uri. She's going to take a lot of damage. Out comes the Sleepy Trouble bubble well. Of a volleyball. Lucid now looking for potential angle over the wall. Won't quite do it.
Well, this is a problem, in case that wasn't obvious, because the further back towards your base that you get pushed, the more value Zoe has, because she has more ability to just kind of like keep throwing bubbles at you while you're in a smaller section of the map. She was teleported offside. There are 3 members of GAM there. I just don't think we can do anything about them. It's got the upgraded Tabby. Can't even remember what they're called now, but the upgraded armor boots. Atakan started on the other side. Why not? And with only 13 petals taken aside, I actually reckon there's got to be a couple around the map, right? So, damn well, we'll take that. Probably get a load of petals from the one switch across the map. Levi has greeted for a Scuttle Crab and will likely lose his ult. As a result, a lot of damage. The blast gun comes through. Levi does have flash. I don't think it's going to save him, and indeed it won't. Atakan taken as Levi dies on the other side of the map.
That he does. Good value secured.
20 petals picked up by DK from the Atakan. So they're up to, they went from 13 to 36, 23 up there. And with Levi dead, I think that might be the end of GAM's tournament, sadly.
I think it may well be. This game was decided by some flair. Some showtime from Showmaker and crew. It has been a fun one for them. They pick a lot of fun, explosive champions and explode the health bars. GAM will make one last valiant effort. Into the breach they go, but they are charging into the loaded guns of D+ Kia, who will execute them in short order. They bring down Shiwu at the very least, but it has not been an easy feat to do so.
Levi's back alive, and GAM did actually take one without losing anyone so far, but now Lucid is here. Wasn't it the initial fight? DK in currently 4v5. But they are so strong and their siege is so powerful.
Showmaker looking for the bubble. Oh, they walk across, but it's the clone that does so. It's not the end of the world. Trying to claim through as the minions come pouring on in. GAM, it's Nazi zombies. They're playing that game. It's the wrong one. Doing so much work here, trying to kill them all down. That will be the turret falling. Unfortunately for them, it's the wrong game mode. They'll get blown up here as the Nexus will get collapsed upon.
DK do have a lot of low health bars. Can they finish the Nexus itself? I'm not sure with the poke from aiming. I think they can do. Bubble will certainly help Levi jumping forwards, but it'll only be to his doom.
Goodbye, Nexus. Goodbye, GAM. It's a rough one. Man, I have missed seeing the Zoes. I've missed seeing the Jaxes. I've missed seeing some of this fun stuff here. It's rough.
2 FDK.
Kiana, then I think that's a very scary combo.
Naya was a bit messy on that champion.
Yes, that's the reason I had to say if.
Yeah, Doomby's Rise is very scary. I do really like Bard Ambassador. If Bard ever pings the ult and it hits someone, pretty easy if the Ambassador hits a hit afterwards, or the Kiana as well. I don't think this is a straight-up draft win. NIP have good... Oh, they tried to look for the W start on Jin. Didn't quite manage to get what they were looking for. Yeah, I think I really agree with what Burnish is saying in Twitch chat. NIP have to outplay. I think the burden is on NIP to make plays.
Agreed. And they've got a lot of playmaking tools, to be fair.
They do, but I think NIP's playmaking skill or their execution has been hit and miss.
Very much.
So there's a lot of noise in this. I'm not going to be, you know, decisively think, oh, they're definitely winning or whatever. We have another Taeyun swap, by the way. Kingen and Jiwoo are switching lanes. As you know, Team WE pulled this out a month or 2 ago. They were doing it in scrims. KT Rolster's coach Score was talking about it, how Team WE were the first team to do it, and they did it first in pro play on stage as well. They did it towards the end of the regular season, where you change AD carry and top laner to bully out. And actually, speaking of that, Kingen will get the knockup at the level 1 W start from Kingen, which means that he has extra regen, interestingly enough, not going towards the Q for wave clip. Mid lane, Doomby pushing in with the E-start. Getting a little bit of damage onto Calyx as well. Calyx performed very, very well in some of the other games in this tournament. His Orianna was really, really good a little bit before.
Nyo will be spotted out here. Early smite, actually, just to try and get things clearing off a little faster. I think was waiting on some cooldown, so just trying to be efficient with timings. Gideon will know what's going on, but then again, so will Nyo, having got that ward down over by the Raptor. So known quantities, both junglers right now.
Yeah, good little EQ there from Doomby. Gets the phase rush. Good skill shot accuracy. Doomby's had a strange old tournament. Had an awesome part of an Akali game, and then threw it a little bit towards the late game. One of their games.
Did they end up winning it or not?
No, that one they lost. They were ahead and they ended up losing 0-2. An invade coming through from Lahenzi puts a control ward early and interestingly. So the thing about the Taeyun swap is that you do get early support resets, which means you can come out onto the map with a control ward, which is very different to the way that supports were playing before.
Very much so. Jin training out with the Rek'Sai. I think Jin's got to be a little bit wary into the Rek'Sai, actually. Quite a lot of ways to buffer through the deadly flourishes that can leave Jen in a tricky spot.
Does Rek'Sai get a smaller hitbox when she's burrowed? No, it's the same hitbox size, although it does look a little bit different, I do agree.
Yeah, and you're obligated to make the jaws theme tune when you go. It's basically just two notes the entire time, just shortening distance, shortening.
Apart from the little the little flare of the. Very good though. Very good.
God bless John Williams. What a guy.
There was someone's like, oh, you know, I'm not good enough to do this, and it's like, yes, but the best director alive to do it. All the people who are better at it are dead. Can't remember who that was for, but yeah. Oh, John Williams really made Star Wars into a special product. I mean, he was also in the Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park. Gideon in topside. Yes. Oh, Kiana might actually be able to. If they stop the recall here, this could be pretty good. They spot Gideon here. Not going for the Q just yet is Nyket. Nyo's up in topside. Nyo actually getting the gold from the ward. By the way, wards don't give XP anymore, so there's no extra stuff from that.
Worth knowing that one. Of course, it used to be a big thing at the level 1 with people switching off for sweepers. King in. Actually trading pretty nastily. Does get a bit of healing here, and actually with the ferocious bite. Some work back. Queen's Fury. A bit of a slide back, uses that passive well.
Yeah, leave. Tried to go for the Q auto for the even higher damage. Didn't quite get the auto off before the tunnel brought him out of auto attack range. Can see those. Yeah, if you actually manage to get good damage onto someone, there could be a flash knock up here. Leave needs to be careful. He has barrier, but the tunnel's giving an extra kind of set of mobility. Leave does need to back off, and see some of the threat early on of Rek'Sai. Hard to bring them down into kill range, and they have a crazy amount of base damage. Doomby doing his part to do the warding mission. Of course, warding is a team sport. Forky and Ambassador, the two carries stationed with their supports right now. Does mean that Jin is getting solo XP, interestingly.
That could be quite good for the Jin as well. Does want to get towards some of those higher levels. Again, his passive all scales off level as well, so giving yourself more AD as you scale up can be quite nice. One of the reasons why Jin scaling is often quite hard to process compared to a lot of other AD carries purely off the items, because actually he gets a lot of value off pure levels of how much attack speed he's got, how much crit he's got, all tied into how many levels he's got at the same time. Ends up getting some pretty insane amounts of extra bonus AD actually from it.
Oh yeah, for sure. One of the funny things which I saw yesterday is that when Renata ult hits Jin yesterday, because it gives a bonus attack speed when you get berserked, Jin just does even more damage with the fourth shot, I believe. I think that's the case anyway, right?
Yeah, it will be. He did scale attacks,
I keep forgetting the actual formula, but it was just very funny just seeing a fourth shot just do like a third of someone's HP. His ally, Dragon taken by NIP here, no contest.
So he gets 4 to 44% extra bonus attack damage based on level.
Oh, okay.
And then he gets an additional X% of the crit and an extra X% of bonus attack adding to that percentage. So basically late game he's getting something like 80% bonus AD, which is why he gets it's like one of those ones where like
multiplicative,
Yeah, so there is a sort of break point where you hit like third item level 16, 17, where it's like, okay, between attack speed and crit and level, I now really hit hard. But that's partly why actually in the mid game when you're just sort of stuck on rapid fire cannon at level 11 or whatever, it seems like you hit but like no damage. But he's not hit the breakpoints yet.
Ooh, Liv getting level 6 early. If he hits a W now, Jiwoo could be in a bit of trouble. Luckily, Jiwoo misses it there. Jiwoo's had a strange tournament. He's had, because he has always been a hyper-aggressive AD carry, loves to use the Corki Valkyrie to go forward, stuff like the Ezreal and the Kai'Sa too. He is a psychopath AD carry in a way that...
we saw the Ezreal solo kills into getting inting back into the Jace after that.
Ooh, misses the W there. Good sidestep by Lahens. But I think those side steps, sorry, the front steps have been a little less well used in this tournament than they have been at points before. Jiwoo walking up and stacking the Conqueror.
The flourish just backstep there by Jiwoo. I keep seeing Jiwoo and keep wanting to go Jiwoo woo. Jiwoo woo.
Rumble going towards bot side. Doombi, Rise Hack. The public execution lands.
That was nice. Very well played. Out comes the Void Assault. Unfortunately for Kingen, it's not going to matter, I don't think. Borrowed for a second, misses the Overload, but I do not think Kingen, even for all the time he's buying, will actually be able to survive here for all that much longer.
Super sick from solo kill. He got ulted by the Rek'Sai, so walked to the other side so he'd pop out in the wrong direction. That was nice from solo kill, because he was trying to use the Rek'Sai to go under tower more safely, maybe flash away. Solo kill stepped back from where he launched the ultimate from, which meant he would fly actually further away from it. That was nice from solo kill.
The only thing is it did take a fair amount of time to finally finish them off, and actually I thought that wasn't going to mean all that much, but it does give Calyx more time to get the wave in mid, which is at least something.
It's the Doombi special, right? Just give up some farm, get a play somewhere. It does mean that solo kill will get 1 or 2 plates in bot side. Okay, going forwards, landing the exhaust, and that's the Valkyrie use. This could be a little bit of threat here.
You can't make an omelet without cracking some eggs, and Jiwoo's cracked some. Will eat a 4th shot, which also has to flash, because that Cosmic Binding could have been seriously nasty. Doombi now trading a little bit around this one as the incoming Supreme Display of Talent gets a little bit of damage, but not anything near lethal. Nice route, but a flash for the shuffle. Isn't as much fun as I think it was with Leave, was pretty quick on the flash away. Calyx now a little out of position. Lahens goes down, or the other side though, the flash for the Audacious Charge range is good. Now Leave in danger, though the barrier comes forward, and Jiwoo gets over the wall with the Valkyrie and managed to trade out on Leave. Damage from Doombi, they're pretty scary because Nongshim have got very low health bars. Slow on down, Nio gets the kill with a wonderful audacity to get that additional kill.
That was a messy fight, but NIP, who comes out ahead? It's 2 for 2? 2 for 2. And it does mean that the grubs are at least contested. It's not 3 to Nongshim, it goes 2 to 1. Leave, very nearly getting a slick extra play at the end of it, but doesn't quite understand that Corki can come into the play. Great start to the fight from Nio. Managed to get some decent damage off onto the jungle support. A double water blade, and Calyx thinks he has the golden road, and instead finds it a little bit tarnished in silver. Flash away, only gets the support, and Gideon uses his flash to kill the Bard. Kingen's dying again in the side lane. Solo kill will get a kill this time.
Indeed, a little bit of an assist from Nymaera, who comes across with a magical journey.
Magical player that shows the way.
The magical ambassador player that shows the way.
Someone mentioned the other day that LPL does have a history of kind of scaling up through group stages. Maybe that's what's happening here a little bit. We were, a little bit promoting LPL, like, are they taking it seriously? Because they probably should. The fans are not enjoying this at all. Seems like both Weibo and NIP, sadly not JDG, but Weibo and NIP look like they're playing a little bit more cleanly now. That being said, NIP, they've had good early games before, but haven't been able to capitalize. Now ahead, a little over 1.5k, doing quite well so far. And the Ambassador is scary, because that is your big diving threat. It doesn't take that much extra damage to allow the Ambassador to clean up a fight.
And you've got a lot of setup from everywhere else, right? The public execution should never be freeballed this game, between Kiana, root from the Water Blade, from the Supreme Display of Talent, from Rise Rune Prism, from W, from Bard Q or R. There's a lot of tools to make sure that Ambassador is hitting someone important in the team.
I'm quite impressed with how NIP have moved Nio and Nymaera around the map. We did say, look, it's quite a hard duo to pair, to pilot rather, the Kiana and the Bard. Made good plays so far. Nymaera had that good run down their bot side. Nio is now going to be magical journeyed over, and as we were saying, this duo does need to be active. Great upper ability.
Good Faye onto the turret. That means his Supreme Display of Talent is nearly guaranteed. Flash from King, and there's a deadly flourish. Will Void Assault briefly. Supreme Display of Talent buffing through well, but unfortunately for King, and where do you go? Just the grey screen.
Again, they use the Rek'Sai ultimate to pull them away from tower. This time it is Jiwoo pushing in mid lane instead of Calyx as it was before. Solar Killer's on the weak side side of the map. There's no teleport to help him. Does he stay under turret and just hope for the best? He will probably die. He has 3 biscuits and a pot to keep him ticking, but there's a lot of damage to be thrown at him.
Yes, indeed. There's the headbutt, the pulverize, the equalizer, so the Eclipse shield, that's the one I was looking for. Might buy a bit of time rebuttal, solid enough, but it's just not quite enough damage back. Some words, but Nongshim don't fumble the dive.
He goes unstoppable with the ult, doesn't hit anyone, and of course with the Alistar using ult, very unlikely to get a kill in that dive either. One of the reasons why Alistar has been so big is because of these side lane dives and how efficient Alistar is at getting them. First turret will be taken by NIP in the bot side. Dermby gets the local gold, and while Solo Kill does die, the tower doesn't on top side before NIP take theirs in the bot lane.
Chat member suggesting we put on the Ninjas song when they win. Of course, worth reminding that Ninjas in Pyjamas hired Chrissy Constanza against the current and, of course, Legends Never Die fame.
That was FPX, Sam.
Was FPX? Oh, she did one. So what was the Ninja? Did Ninjas get someone else to do a Ninja song then?
Sam, I don't know what the Ninja song is.
I thought Ninjas also got a theme song.
No.
Okay, man.
No, I don't know. Maybe they do.
Maybe I did conflate the FPX one. I
was about to say, no, Chrissy Constanza did the FPX song, which is not Phoenix, but after they won Worlds, they're like, yeah, we'll get them to make a song. So every time they go on stage, they use that song.
That's the one. I was lying to you there. Unfortunate misinformation.
There's a CSGO one from like 10 years ago.
I mean, I can see that, because at that point they were an insane team, right? Like the Forest Get Right roster was pretty insane.
Yeah. I miss Get Right. Great play. So 2 dragons for NIP. I mean, again, it's been a pretty good early game from NIP. I will say, you know, later into the game, where you do get worried for Corki Azir getting peeled for by Shinzao Alistar. I think a lot of this game will be about execution of NIP's dive. Oh, doesn't quite cancel the back there.
I think that's a fair shout from here, Laura, as well, saying that basically multi-time MSI winners get less respect than single-time Worlds winners.
That's true. I think particularly nowadays, now MSI is a double elimination tournament, there is an argument to say that MSI is more rigorous at determining a victor than a single elimination bracket because of the weirdness of seeding, right?
I think part of it is obviously Worlds has been around for longer, and it's always been the prestigious tournament, whereas MSI's come along and it's inverted commas smaller. I also got to put this out there. I think it's because of the teams that have won it have often there's been less popular teams that have won MSI, with the exception probably of
What's he won in 2017, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Dermby realm warping over the wall. Lehens does have flash and ult. Leaves coming over. Great W. Cleanses it off. I don't know if this ult's going to save him.
He's gone. There's no real way out until he flashes and gets a bit of speed up for the Nimbus cloak. You know what? Not bad.
Might make a play up here, though. Does have the ult. Calyx shuffling away. Now, if he can get towards the wall, could use the supreme display of talent.
Dermby. There's a flash on forwards. Calyx now flashes, looking to get some more damage. The supreme display of talent is just that. And Calyx is a dead man. The redemption coming on through. Just the time to keep Dermby alive, but not for that much longer. Good damage onto Gideon. If the Crescent Guard will time out, in come the teleport themselves. Nio can potentially grasp here with the Terror Shape. Audacity forwards, looking for some more damage. Audacious charge. And a possibility from Gideon with the win becomes lightning mark, but will not go further forward.
And you can see some of the problems of Qiyana versus Shinzao. Early game, Shinzao's damage is just so ridiculous that even with Qiyana, she's not really someone that wants to go inside that Crescent Guard. It's not a bad response from Nongshim, actually. Calyx takes a long time to die and drags them under the turret, which means that Gideon can now end up being a 3-kill Shinzao. It is 2-0-2 on Qiyana on the other side, though. It's not like Nio is out of resources, right?
He's about a level ahead as well, actually, which is the issue that the Shinzao sort of runs into. A lot of times, the Shinzao that gets snowballed, sort of stays ahead, can bully through the jungle. The problem against there's an issue with some of the AP junglers, like Shinzao often had a rough time against, say, Lillian, for example, where your ability to take your early leads against a Qiyana or a Lilia or whatever that's not fallen behind themselves can be a bit tricky because they clear jungle so damn fast.
I will say with the Shinzao and the AP farmers, I think a lot of it's about the range there too, in my opinion. Fair. So when you've got like Zyra, Brand, Lilia, it's like, okay, I have to dive in and then whatever. And so you're getting out farmed, and that also happens. With Qiyana, at least she's going melee, let's be honest.
Yeah, true.
Herald's going to be taken by Nongshim, but I do accept the point though. Sometimes Shinzao can fall behind the game and it feels pretty bad. Calyx will finally get the top lane out of turret with his Nongshim Tooth? No, that's not what I meant to say. Nash's Tooth. Yeah, that's the one. But Nongshim Tooth, maybe they do pull teeth and make them into items soon.
Nash's Red.
Who am I to say? Herald using topside. Not a great amount of people here to respond from NIP, actually. Dermby has teleport, taking Krugs on the other side instead. Bartles. But if they can delay it long enough, they can maybe round the circle. Misses the charge, though.
Nice idea. They should still get this, though, nonetheless. So not bad from Nongshim to get some value back. Actually does pretty much delete the gold lead. They're getting inside the Herald, which might get stopped here. Landed in a horrible spot. The flash from earlier has got an unbreakable will. The Sun Disc is brought up. Curtain's getting called, looking for some damage here. Chunk out at least a couple people, but remember it's missing health damage, so we'll get that much there. NIP a little bit sloppy actually in the defense.
Kingen. Damaged a little bit by Nio there. Dragon up in 20 seconds, worth noting. NS bringing back some of the gold lead back to even. Still worth noting that Ambessa is really strong right now, 1,000 gold up. The rest of the map much more even, slight leads across other roles. No 2 items yet completed. I mean, technically Rise does, but doesn't have the full stacks in on the Seraphs. Other side, Ryali's almost in from Calyx. Dragon started by NIP. Would be a 3rd Dragon for them. That's dangerous for Nongshim to give over. I'm surprised that they're so slow to. They stayed a very long time in topside to take that turret. Might mean that the Dragon goes to NIP.
Should be able to pick that one up and do so. Lahen's flashed on in. Didn't have the spellbook smite, so wonder whether we might find some value there. Gideon's got the Crescent Guard rolling. Unfortunately for Soliku, misses the ult, but the Supreme Display of Talent catches a number of people. That makes some difficult angles. Calyx gets a shove back. That's pretty good. Deny will likely fall down. Tries to get the healing off the Honey Fruit. Will not. Gideon, the audacious charge does it, and Gideon. That's not a great angle in the end from Doomby, who falls down. They do blindly bring down Calyx. Leave potentially threatening here. Health bars from Nongshim. Not fantastic, but NIP down the member.
It's pretty good engage from Nongshim to kind of at least find some split off parts. Calyx dies on the engage. He's been really going for the aggressive shuffles, and it's been leaving him out of position. It is a 1 for 2 in favor of Nongshim, but the Dragon goes to NIP, so I think NIP feel happier overall. Even though they do fall behind in gold, they have that threat of soul later on.
Gideon again is the one who picks up a lot of the gold here on this Shin Zhao. They get the initial knock-up, and they throw down the realm walk from Doomby. He didn't get that much fighting solo kill. Honestly, the fact he doesn't hit that ult kind of sucks. It's a decent Supreme Display of talent, but this shuffle caused some trouble because at this point Nio has no way out, and Doomby just can't quite finish up what he started.
And Doomby used the realm up a little earlier, which did bring, you know, the Kiana out of the initial engage, but Doomby going a little too far. Rise into Alistair, a bit of a rough one because he can often just walk at you in combo when you try and get your DPS down. Down to the top side now. Is a level up on Kingen, by the way. Kingen, actually, I was about to say, oh, it's, you know, so little XP for Kingen. Actually, it's just Nio being really high XP. He's one of the highest in the game right now. 173 farm at 18 minutes. Yeah. Actually, hang on a second. No, he's got a ton of farm.
Yeah, but I'd say this Kiana. Kiana is doing Kiana things. This is the you hit a breakpoint in Kiana where things just disappear in front of your eyes.
Alex getting a side lane turret. This is the Azir special. Doomby doing the other side, though. One grub means it's a little slower to take, but I think with Kingen being chased off by Nio in the top jungle, Doomby will still get this. So both mid laners getting some extra gold. Doomby getting closer towards the Rod of Ages, which will bring him even more XP ahead. Oh, he's not ahead right now, but it'll bring him more XP. And then he'll be ahead.
And then he'll be ahead. Tempered Fate caught Calyx.
Oh, that's big.
Oh boy, he failed to shuffle that. We'll try and get the Emperor's Divide down the display of talent. Plus a last shot from Lee brings down the Azir.
The Azir's been he's been betrayed by his own wall. The wall extended the ult from the Kiana.
That's how that
That's
works.
why it went around everything. Because the terrain ended up extending the Kiana ult. Wow, words were really hard there. I was like, what the hell? Betrayed by the own Emperor's Divide. Ended up connecting the 2 pieces of wall together and getting it to roll around the back.
Rare it is indeed that Nymaera is out of words. And yet here we are.
I do occasionally.
What is the worst word you run out of?
Well, I don't know, because I ran out of it.
Is it like, imagine if words had like a limited stock.
You have to pay, yeah, you have to actually, you have to watch an ad to get, watch these adverts to get 5 more uses of this word, or
which leads
buy
to more
your
slang.
Buy your words booster pack.
That's exactly. This is how you end up with slang becoming increasingly common, like to deal with word shortages. This feels like a Jasper Ford.
It does feel like that. That one, you know, George Orwell. Calyx alone on the sideline. The Bardot's coming back up. Doesn't quite hit it this time. That being said, Nightcat's actually been having a hell of an impact on the Bard, so I'm not gonna lie, missing 1. He's allowed that after the game he's had so far.
Jin also beginning to hit some important breakpoints. The Collector and the Ghostblade nice into some squishy members.
Yeah, no, I think in this game I don't mind the Ghostblade giving you also the on-call mobility as well. Atacon now started. Ambessa would have to teleport up, whereas Nongshim have all their members a little closer. They don't have the Bard ult to start engaging. This could be when Nongshim really pull ahead in the game before the Dragon, which comes up in a minute.
They do have the magical journey. How aggressively do they want to play? Leave gets jumped on, flashed away immediately. We're not going to see the Void Assault after. Calyx at half HP, courtesy the Atacon, though, makes things tricky.
My worry, hang on, NIP are now going to leash this. I wonder whether NIP should leave this and just say, look, we're going to go towards the Dragon in a minute. But if they take a big win now, they'll have the better angle towards the Dragon later with the extra XP and adaptive force they gain. They're still leashing it. They don't want to take too much damage from here, though. This is risky.
Kingen could potentially get towards Leave here with a really good unburrow angle. You see what they're trying to do here. The Gatagon taken by Gideon. That's a good start for it. Supreme display of talent tags too, but not that much damage, unfortunately, for NIP. Lehens, though, in the front line.
Calyx is so low.
Calyx so low. The Tempered Fate gets a lot of work done. Solo kill also now low. Trying to get the kill onto the Azir, and they do. All the while, Lehens desperately low King and trying to slide away with the tunnel. Jiwoo left out to dry. Deadly Flourish landing. Flash off over Nyket to get the Cosmic Binding. Magical Journey Jace on the Gideon, who hasn't got a Crescent Guard or a Flash. Trying to get to Valley back as he gets an audacious charge forwards. Nyket goes down. This Xin Zhao is so damn tanky. Leave trying to go over. The Deadly Flourish lands. Can still potentially fight through. God damn. Xin Zhao from ahead is obnoxious. Will finally fall. Smite onto Jiwoo. Slow him down. Looking for the blade across the wall. With the edge of Ixtal. It's good. Deadly Flourish. Sidestep. Barrier just in case. Do him be no flash, but can keep rolling.
The most important thing, Gideon died last. If Jiwoo dies here, it's even worse. They won't be able to fight for the Dragon. NIP lose. He's out of range. He won't get that now. The Redemption will keep him healed up, but the most important thing is the jungler died last, so the Dragon is not contested. NIP lose the Atakan, but get Infernal Soul.
TPs. They're going to try and play this out regardless. Nio's desperately low. If they can bring him down, it might be an angle watch for Lehens. Has he got a spellbook fight? No, he doesn't. There's the Soul trying to run away, and I think NIP have done all the hard work. Just get out now is the suggestion.
That it is, and there's no Baron or anything for Nongshim to get themselves a revenge play towards. NIP, they do lose the Atakan. That is a bunch of petals that went out to Nongshim.
My God.
Well, they had about 10 before. They end up getting 20 from that, I think, overall. So it's good for them. Gets them the XP, gets them some adaptive force. That is good. NIP went for the Smite fight, lost it, but, well, I mean, Infernal Soul is Infernal Soul, especially with Jhin, as we were saying before. Getting to that kind of multiplicative level gets really nasty. Lehens maybe looking for a dive over the wall here now. We'll see what they can do, but they are currently on a ward. Wait, is that not seen? Oh, no, it's deactivated. It's deactivated. I didn't see that. Here we go.
The angle, jumping onto the Jhin, remember, doesn't have the flash. The shuffle back to the top of the Tempered Fate. Keeps him alive for a second or two. What does it matter? Massive, the Supreme display of talent. The Crescent Guard buys time, but Jhin is free firing. 2 for 1 right now in favor of NIP. They turn it around, though, with a nice Frost Bomb. Jhin trying to unleash with a Curtain Call. Should get some decent damage as Gideon body blocks.
Body blocker. What does it end up being? 2 for 2, but the tower falls. The Infernal Soul leave, spacing out his shots, so he gets even more of that down. Nongshim trying to fight against the recent objective picked up. Nio caught a little bit in the meat grinder again. Do they have any flashes to force onto him? Gideon's actually kind of strong here.
He is very strong. They're going to jump onto the turret pretty well. Gideon trapped under it. Does go down. That's important. What about the dancing grenade? It's good. Calico to the backside. They do bring down Leave. That's not bad going. Will still likely die to solo kill and does. Nyket looking for Jiwoo once again, just about escapes with life. 404 has managed to thread the needle well, but they lose 2 in trade of additional 1 for the turret.
I cannot believe that Jiwoo's not died in this game. NIP do lose themselves 2 turrets in mid lane, which gives them gold and control over the map from Nongshim, but NIP are winning the fights with the Infernal Soul just a little bit. No, Sam, Baron's not alive for another minute, really, and he's up in 10.
I was thinking they can get control at least.
Yeah, so he's going to be okay for now. I understand the instinct, though, because when games get messy like this, whenever the jungler dies, that is the right instinct, so I agree with that, but the timing not quite right in this case. Top right of your screen is lying to you, by the way. The Dragon is actually down. Will be Elder, though, I guess, in about 5-6 minutes. Worth reminding, by the way, Nongshim, BFX, and BNK Fearex did also have multiple Elders in that game as well. We've had some good late games, and tell you what, I'm really enjoying this game. It's been very messy, very even, seeing a lot of players making their flashy plays, and I'm glad they're not being overly reserved. I'm glad they're going for them.
Gideon, now at 2.5 items, has been a surprisingly resourceful frontline. Very difficult to bring down in short order. The audacious charges to clean people up when they're looking to keep him down has been impressive stuff as well.
Very close to the Infinity Edge for Leave, won't be that far off of it. He'll probably get it. In fact, he might take Red Buff and Raptors and take it now. Another important thing as well is that the upgraded boots for the Swiftness boots, they actually give you AD, Adaptive Force, based off of your movement speed. So if you end up getting a crit on Jhin and you pop the Ghost Blade, it gives you some significant extra stats, actually. So Leave with the feats of strength there, not just hard to outspace, but also get some extra stats as well. He's going to clear through not just Red Buff and Raptors, he's going to get himself the Wolves as well. He really wants to get in Infinity Edge. Problem is, if Nongshim sniff this out, they might be able to get a fight before he can get a recall in for the Infinity Edge around the Baron.
I'm sure that wave should be able to do so fairly shortly. The only thing is, of course, Jin can get involved off a reset a lot faster than most AD carries just by virtue of the W and, of course, the R.
Catch Gideon, here comes the Realm Warp.
Looking for the angle, Realm Warp in. There's a big stun, forces the Crescent Guard. Don't overplay it. In comes the TP, actually, from King as well, in fear.
Yeah, I don't think they want to overforce. Leave is probably just saying, I need to recall now. Gideon doesn't take enough damage for Nongshim to back off. They'll push in the mid wave, and because they've taken both mid lane turrets, they can really hold a lot of presence here. Do they swap the recall? Do they swap the recall? I don't think they do. So they don't know to rush Baron. That would have been disaster for NIP. He gets himself Infinity Edge now, does the Jin. Huge breakpoint. Nongshim, if they knew that Jin had retreated, could have started this early, but because they don't, Jin is back on the field in time to fight.
Ghostblade was used to get out on the field very fast as well, so it's now here with the
Swiftness
Infinity
boots.
Edge.
The upgraded Swiftness boots and the Ghostblade means that Leader's bang back out onto the map.
Kingen using that passive, the Tremor Sense to spot out NIP coming on over, looking for their own angles. Not the nicest corridor to be stuck in there for NIP versus this team comp.
King has not been farming for the last 3 minutes. I think he's felt like he's been forced to group a little bit. Even with that, ahead in XP because of the petals compared to solo kill. It's been a lot. Hang on a second, catch him. He didn't quite get the ult.
Public execution flashed away from. He gets out of all of it.
Jiwoo is so slick with it. Sidesteps a flash in there too. There is no flash used by NIP for it, and it does mean that Jiwoo will have that summoner down. Kingen left alone in this top side. He might be in trouble here. Does not have a teleport.
Gonna try and find his way out, but Solo Kill's waiting, trying to get towards the other tunnels. Flashes away. How long until his next tunnel? Flash on forwards, goes underground. There's the Void Assault. Exhaust away. Deadly Flourish goes wide. He's actually surviving it so far. Looking at the shots, and Kingen is out. But what about the rest of the team? They're trapped in the Baron pit, trying to hit some shots. And that's at least the Alistair down in trade for Kingen's life.
So Kingen doesn't die, but it does lead to the death of a teammate. You've lost your support now, and that's a large part of your front line, which keeps your back line safe. Well, NIP, I don't know if they feel like it can stop the Baron.
Needs to try and escape here. We'll be able to Terror Shape over the wall. Jiwoo backs away with the Valkyrie flash on forward from Doing B. Finds a really good angle. Calyx has to go golden. But what does that mean? Gideon with the Crescent Guard gets a knock up on the solo kill.
Leave is dead!
But he takes the Azir with him. Doing B goes golden, courtesy of, I believe, that arm guard. They're getting a lot of damage as Jiwoo and Gideon continue to free fire. That's so many kills for the Corki. Jiwoo unkilled and will ensure that everyone else is hit by the bomber. Trying to Valkyrie forwards, rocket! Pentakill for Jiwoo!
Jiwoo gets himself the Penta, the unkilled Corki gets so much damage off as NIP can't capitalize on the flash being down on the AD carry.
My days, what an insane sequence from him. Dodges everything before the play, and then comes into it and claims absolutely every left. That's Elder on spawn as well.
Huge for them. And it's another game where NIP can't cleanly play through the late game. It's happened a lot this year where NIP have had decent leads, good playmaking, and then something happens in the late game where they can't quite get it over the finish line. Jiwoo has been so importantly staying somehow safe in these late games. Really, really well played to get the damage out. Corki does so much damage if you allow him to free fire. He's not often seen as a hyper carry, but occasionally comes out with a crazy amount. Hang on a second, they get the Elder on spawn, but Gideon and Jiwoo die.
That's pretty big. Gideon just about surviving
Gideon lives.
For now. That's critical. Leave looking for some damage. They can still look to outspace. It's doing below, not quite burning. Looking to go forwards. The hands gets a knock up onto Nayo. Needs to back away a little bit here, but now the Alistair ult times out. Tampered Fate wide on Calyx. Backside Kingen keeping solo kill busy. Calyx could throw out some soldiers. Not the best spacing though. As Nayo does get the supreme display of talent, and that means the Azir falls. Kingen doesn't get the execute because of the stopwatch.
They're winning versus Elder.
Elder means nothing in the face of ninjas in pajamas.
They end up getting 3 kills off the back of the Elder. NIP may look to end the game. We were saying the late game fumbles have been something that NIP have struggled with this year, but they just won against an Elder Dragon.
They just got a pentakill into an Elder and may still lose. Nongshim, what have you done?
Oh, they've noodled around a little bit too far, I think. They're going to use the Realm Up to get the minions a little bit further forwards, get them under tower. Can they end the game?
Double pulverized. Jiwoo's back alive. He's got a GA, can do a lot of work. Trying to clear some people down. Execute from Gideon. Already the GA buying some time from Jiwoo. He's not going to die. Gideon into the backside of the audacious charge. GA procs, getting some damage now. Doinby will still continue to try and free fight best he can. Gideon does put the Crescent Guard down, buys some time. Doinby not hit by the wind, becomes lightning. Jiwoo hasn't got Elder, has to back away. They don't lose the game, but it is messy.
We are into cinema territory now. We are well into cinema territory. NIP go a little too far looking for the game end themselves. Baron is alive. Nongshim will take themselves the Baron knowing that they've just killed 3 members themselves. Oh my god, so we've had pentakill into Elder, into almost everyone dying, and almost the game ending, and then the Baron coming up on spawn for Nongshim. So Nongshim are getting the objectives. NIP, you had a golden opportunity to potentially end that game, couldn't quite do it, and I think Nongshim are back in the advantage. I think it is still Infernal Soul, teleport onto a control ward. What happened here? Solo kill must have just got the, gets him over that. Jiwoo dies as solo kill flashes forwards. And yeah, I mean, you might have taken the Elder, but you were still low HP by not resetting. To get the Elder, don't safely get out.
You don't. Yeah, Nayo managed to escape. Lehens, who was looking to go on forwards. The Temper Fate just shot on Calyx. Unfortunately for Calyx, gets shunted on the wall in a second or two.
Oh, Nayo gets a really good angle here.
Yeah.
Really good angle here. I mean, Calyx did have flash. I feel like that's one you got to do. It's a pretty slow animation, that one. Back in on live. Don't think anyone else has died. It's a full team of Baron for Nongshim. Elder is now worn off.
The problem, though, is their waves are not in a fantastic spot right now for Nongshim. They'll have a few minutes to get some things rolling, but I think at this point gold is becoming increasingly decorative. If you get the death cap on the Azir, maybe that's a breakthrough.
Now folks, if you're here for clean League of Legends, clearly that is not always going to be the case here. If you are here for some goddamn entertainment brought to you by our god draw, the Grasshopper predictor themselves, well, this is the only place you're going to get it, folks. I don't see anywhere else with the Grasshopper predicting things over here. I also don't see many other regions doing whatever the hell this is happening in the late game as well. 4 items for the Jhin now with a rapid fire cannon. Leave, struggled to have some clean fights, and I can't caught out here.
Needs to get over the wall with Magical Journey, not fantastic, but Gideon, my days, this Xin Zhao has proved to be a bit of a menace.
Yeah, Bard, really difficult to play in terms of positioning. Nongshim still have 2 minutes left of the Baron. They're likely going to break A lane here. Can they get more than that?
Fate angle?
Not worth it really, because let's be honest, it's only going to save it for a couple of seconds. Maybe use it for an engage afterwards. Try and catch out Calyx, Jiwoo, force the flash minimum.
Have to be if you can get at least the mobility down, but you need to have a flank angle to go with it, keep people corralled out of. Imagine. There's the Tempered Fate. Oh, they caught him. Can they turn it into anything else? No, they can't.
No, they can't. There's the front lines in place. I think Lehens would have immediately comboed the first person to follow up. NIP, they are quite a low-range team if they're trying to dive in and finish the kill. Calyx uses his shuffle in there. Nio W's forwards, my friend. That's not the play.
Oh, the Supreme Display of Talent catches a couple. Not that much follow-up, though. Lehens goes a little low, but not down. Trying to get some damage back. Remember, they've got Infernal Soul still NIP, so they sting if they can get the combos down.
2 out of 4 hit, but the 4th shot missing from Leave. And Nongshim, they have enough HP to keep things around. They have some poke from the Infernal Soul, but the range and the front line of Nongshim is coming out on top.
It really is. I think they could have full sent on that Temper Fate. I really do.
Doing it into Xin Zhao Alice is immediately comboing you back, especially when we just saw what Gideon did to the enemy Bard. I think it's a risk. And I wonder whether NIP, after failing the Nexus kill, I wonder whether they're feeling that risk is a little too far.
Definitely be a problem for sure. Jhin at level 16 with quite a lot of crit to his name, will be stinging pretty heavily with that Infernal. Another crit cloaks that'll be sticking into the passive at this point of the game. Level 17 as well, and you start to really sting. We'll be on something like 80-ish% bonus AD.
It's ridiculous. And even though he's behind this amount of gold, I think actually at this point with Infernal Soul, just Jhin can start. I mean, it's not like, let's be honest, it's not like the Rek'Sai is tanky. No. If Jhin actually gets to hit someone, the damage is kind of intense. Same with Doombi as well. At this point, your combo does a ton of damage. If Nongshim allow the enemy carries to DPS, it's a big problem. That being said, actually, it's been mainly Jiwoo and Calyx getting the DPS in the last one. More particularly Jiwoo.
Some violence to occur. He's a bit of an angle here, looking for tension, but he's going to blast cone over the wall. Doombi gets tanked low. Oh, baby. Gideon should just about survive the look into his face there by the Tempered Fate. And he is tanky enough, actually, with the GA and the Sterax to not be under too much threat.
Nongshim just looking to control this wave and keep NIP away from setting up the objective. If they get some poke, that'll be really good. Of course, the Corki at this level does do a bunch of that. Not that Leave can't do it on the other side as well. At this point as well, actually the Alice to sustain becomes quite important versus some bits and pieces of this. Doombi importantly kept his flash, means it's a lot easier for him to get himself into a more important position after. Look, are they using the Realm Warp to bait out? Hang on a second, they're trying to catch out Kingen.
Couldn't quite do it, gets over the wall. Now looking for some more with the Magical Journey. Public Execution force to flash out of Kingen. Now Gideon's going forwards, that's a little bit deep. Lehens on the other side, just going to Solo Kill, but doesn't get that much damage. Gideon down about 20% HP, by the way.
Solo Kill can recall and teleport back in, but doesn't have flash or ult now. That's a problem. King also no flash, but let's be honest, it's a much more useful ambassador. Bartle missing, here comes Nio.
Supreme display of talent is immune by the stopwatch. Nio escapes, but Calyx not really hitting anyone valuable. Their head's now in danger. Gideon goes on forward. Massive healing. Doomby goes golden. Jiwoo trading out well. Where is Leave? Trying to get to find the backside, but he's in a 1v3 and dies.
And even with Calyx chasing the Kiana, Nongshim have the damage they need. NIP almost clutched it out in the late game, but Nongshim just get a little more forward. Kill from the Rek'Sai.
Does go down as a result. Calyx slides on in with the shifting sands, but solo kill and Nio alone against the remaining members of Nongshim. It's a 3v2 under their next thread. Nio just about surviving. How long until a Supreme display of talent? Nowhere near. And that means Nongshim could just run at the Nexus and claim game one in what can only be described as a game of League of Legends.
An absolute noodle fest. Nongshim get themselves the first Nexus of the series. It was a banger though. NIP down in that.
It works. He's only got to do
and follows as well. Alrighty, what could be our last game of the group stage coming up next? I think, I don't know, NIP have got to show some better gameplay than that last one. Followed today, but seeing your clips on Reddit. Thank you, appreciate you. Yeah, we've been, hang on a second, lane swap coming, well, not lane swap, but a little bit of level 1 coming through. W coming through, the handshake as well. I think this is at best a flash though, right? I don't think it's even going to get that much. So they stop King from walking forwards, but that's it actually. They'll clear out the ward here. Now what's the play? Oh! Maybe that's why Aphelios is here. You can do the, you can potentially do the Taeyun swap. Put AD carry top lane. Yes, Aphelios is pretty bad at that. No, they're not doing it. Alright, fair play. I guess it is. I guess at the end of the day, Kai'Sa Leon is not fantastic at that. Instead, it's the Kai'Sa that's going topside. Oh, alright, okay, so I'm trying to figure out what the mind game was. Leave and Nightcat want to stick together. Aphelios Renata is far better as a duo. Aphelios level 1 is kind of ass. You don't want to put him in a solo lane at that point. But Jiwoo might have wanted to go top lane. If NIP predicted them wanting to go top side, what they did there is make sure they could stack up and remove a ward in that top lane brush to make sure that Jiwoo can't just hide in the brush at the level 1. In fact, if you look on the minimap, you can see that Renekton is in the first brush there, which means that he's got himself a little bit more safety from the Kai'Sa level 1, which can be quite annoying to play against his, any kind of AD carry holding that brush at level 1 is really annoying. And actually, because the Sion's now down bot side, that, that's the mini stun there as well. Because the Sion is now down bot side, the Aphelios doesn't really care about the level 1, right? And Aphelios gets to escape the first few levels of the game where he's weakest. Nice. I think that's a good level 1 for NIP. I mean, the Renekton's not getting much out of the laning phase, but look, Aphelios, all he does at level 1 is switch weapons at you aggressively. That's it. Yeah, the Sion unkillable LPL club. I've tried to put a lot of effort into putting clips on Reddit, and also some people have been posting our clips on Reddit, which honestly, it's probably been the best marketing we've had. Is particularly as a smaller stream, we're not an official broadcast, we're not an official stream or anything like that. We're not paid to do this. Stuff like clips on Reddit get a lot of eyes on our stuff. We had the Shy solo kill where he sidesteps everything. It was very fun. Nightcat's coming mid lane. Does have flash handshake maybe. I don't think this is kill angle though. I don't think that HP it is it. You might get flash. I think that's it. So Nightcat will just walk across the mid lane, not get much else there. Can't see. Probably have seen them. Can't remember. Ooh, missed that on that play top side. Ghost was used by Jiwoo. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Unless you're permanently online, you're not going to see everything that goes on Reddit, right? Leave at level 2. Walks his way out of that queue there from Kingan. It's the Conqueror of Aphelios, by the way. Very, very good when you have the Severum, because when you start doing the onslaught, spinning your arms around, very, very quick at starting that. Pretty good with the rifle turrets too. We also had the IG versus JDG Nexus to Nexus with a Baron steal. It was absolutely insane. In fact, it was I think it was really actually a Nexus to Nexus at some point. Oh, we had some great games in LPL this year, folks. Very entertaining league. We're blessed to have good League of Legends all across the world, of course. Sad I missed out on a lot of LCK this year. I heard Group Rise was very fun. Ooh, good dodge away with the Warrior Tricks. Hang on a second, Doomy's in real danger here. Has to flash out. Doesn't Gideon just kill him with an extra Q? He does. Conqueror's now stacked. Gideon easy first blood. Doomby should not have flown back in there. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think you're ever killing him there, are you? Gideon has red buff. Now he has blue buff. Teleport back in from the Akali. Now he's trying to hold the wave so Doomby doesn't lose that much. Wasn't Leave considered a top prospect before his scandal? Yeah, he did have an alt account which he flamed his jungler on when he came up into EDG the first time. Look, Leave was actually very good this year, folks. He's not been good this tournament, but he has had a good year. He has been the best player in NIP across the average of 2025. He's been very, very, very good on stacking champions. His Senna and his Smolder have been very, very good. He stacks faster than almost anyone in the LPL. Faster than almost anyone in the world, actually. When is the second round match? I think we're just playing all days back to back. I think the next games are tomorrow. I don't think we have a break in the schedule. As far as I'm aware, anyway. Yeah, that guy was Leave. Leave had Leave was the guy who did the yeah, he did have an alt account on Weibo where he was flaming JJ's jungler. Which is sure something. Calyx now has a, bit of control over this lane. Doinby's still getting farmed, but Doinby dying early is a little annoying. And giving gold over to Gideon is not what you want, really. Who is Doinby? Doinby is the 2019 mid lane world champion from FPX. How is Doinby's form as of late? I haven't followed LPL much this year. He was very good in Winter when he could play just loads of random stuff, and then it really felt like, if you gave him Galio, Talia, Ryze with his globals, he was very, very effective. I think in Spring, he really struggled to have the same kind of impact. Actually, Fearless and just double banning him was fine. And then I think in Summer, he was getting a little better again. They had an okay run through. Actually, let me remember. How did they do in playoffs? How did they do in playoffs, actually? Let me remember that. The regional finals. Yeah, NIP took a game off of top esports and anyone's legend before bowing out in the playoffs. They did beat FPX in a 5-game series to get into playoffs. Good results in earlier in the year got them through into... they didn't get through into regionals, but they still had, a decent showing across the whole year. Fun fact, Doinby is also very infamous for his CS on Ryze. Absolutely, the 300 Doinby CS Ryze hack. Yes, I saw that, Omar, as well. LCK has merged with Riot Games Korea. I did see that happen a little while ago, but I think it's official now, I think. I've only seen what you've seen on social media. Dragon started by Nongshim. I've really enjoyed watching Nongshim in this tournament. Again, I've not really had much chance to get my hands on casting LCK teams. I'm a big fan. Always enjoyed myself some Korean League of Legends. I think anyone who's a fan of good League of Legends must watch the LCK, right? How does one even rate an ADC? Because you could rate one above the rest, but rating the rest is just who doesn't... It really depends on the meta. At the end of the day, AD carry kind of has to play within the envelope which their team gives them. You can't team fight as an AD carry alone, unless you are very, very, very good. Doinby, jumping forwards. Gets the electrocute down. Do you think Lost Returns will win Worlds in 2026? Well, I mean, if you remove all bans and allow them to play, like, just Scion every game, I mean, maybe, who knows? Who am I to tell you that? Grub's spawning, Nio on the top side. Getting Scuttle Crab. Any huge leads about the place? I mean, a slight lead for the Renekton as to be expected with Renekton early game. Pretty quiet. We've had some pretty quiet early games from this series. I believe was it first game as well? That was nothing happening for the first 7 minutes. Oh no, it was GAM DK, which nothing happened until Grubs. That's the one. Game 2, I think it was. Is that 3 Grubs, or is it going to be 2 here? Yeah, it should be all 3. I don't think there's any contest. So Nongshim happy to give all 3 Grubs over towards NIP. Now that can be a bit of a worry because less so against the Scion lane. There are some times where Renekton can crash a wave into turret, walk beyond the turret, and then get a demolish on the back end of the turret and then apply the 3 Grubs as well. We'll see how much value Solo Kill can get out of it. Unrelated, but do you have any information as to whether Western pros are playing on the Korean server or the Chinese one? I have no idea. Does anyone else know if they're playing on different servers? Hang on. Roam towards the top side. No, heading up here. There's a ward on Gideon. Hence flashing away. But then he's flashed and can't get out of the baby cage. The Renata are way over the top, but they really want this kill. Oh, they get... They get the Wukong, they get the kill with the auto attack. Betrayal. Gideon gets the last hit there. It does mean that the kill actually goes to leave. And even with that, God Guo has finally ended their apathy of this game and chosen Nongqing Red Force just a little bit.
那现在郭人还处于一个比较冷静的啊，
就只能说伴随着游戏的进行，这怎么突然就
跳过去了，
跳到了农心那边？
你要干嘛？
你要毁了这场比赛。
Solo kill, just jumping beyond the queue there. Lahentis roaming. I think with the meta that we see with the Taeyun swap, where you change AD carry and top laner, where there are lots of early resets, I think that supports have a lot of level 2 roaming options. They often stay at low X, from what we've seen so far. So I think roaming support meta is coming up again. Saw photos of G2 celebrating Roman's birthday in China. Yes, and I saw T1 said that they'd gone to China today. So I assume that they're going to be going onto Tournament Realm / Chinese servers to scrim now, I assume. Thank you, Godgore. Honestly, that's the best thing about this tournament. If you remember nothing else about this tournament, just remember the mighty Grasshopper God with their predictions galore. 100% correct prediction rate. And even if you think it's wrong, it's just lying to you. It was always predicting the right thing. Clone has to use the Cyclone to stop the flag and drag. Important tool down from Gideon. Does he want to use the second part of the Cyclone? I guess not. No one really is getting in range for that. Not bad, actually, from Nyket and Nio. They were an LDL duo which came up together from top esports challenges. DMB going forwards, wants to get himself maybe the electrocute. Can't quite do so. Holding Calyx in lane. What is the Taeyun swap? Taeyun is the AD carry of Team WE, and they are the... Hang on a second, ult on top side, forcing the flash out of solo kill. Taeyun is an AD carry that used to play in the LCK, currently playing on Team WE, and what it is at level 1, you don't lane your top laner top lane, you lane your top laner with your support bot lane, and your AD carry goes top lane instead. So Team WE did that a couple of months ago, and they started doing it in scrims, and that's what popularized this new macro which we see from the early game. It's not quote-unquote a lane swap, it's a role swap where AD carries for the first level or 2 lane top lane before they get to level 3, and then they switch back to wherever they need to. Some people were calling it the Viper swap. However, Team WE did it about a month before them, and we're doing it in scrims first. So I think it's more correct to say the Taeyun swap. So this is what happened there. Solikill was trying to use the demolish and the 3 grubs topside. King and good ability to get that flash back there. It's nice from him. That guy's a nobody compared to Viper, though. Yes, Viper is more famous, but it doesn't mean that Viper did it first or was the one that popularized it. So I think it's just correct to say, Just because someone has a bigger brand doesn't mean you should, put it on them. It wasn't actually that did it first or innovated it, or, anyway. You can think what you think on that. I like to call it the Taeyun swap. I think it's more fair to do so. Teleport behind, Dragon being used. Calyx caught out a little bit here. Nio, not going to get hit by the Zenith Blade. Solo kill coming behind. Doesn't have flash. Does have the Dominus to use. Some decent damage coming in from Jiwoo, and he'll follow him over the flag and dragon. Now caught out way too far. Separated from his team. Nongqing picking up the first kill of the fight. Solo kill also doesn't have flash. It is a very split fight from NIP. They're struggling to get onto the targets that they want to. They don't actually have themselves any smite for this. Easy take of that from Gideon, who could hop over the wall if he wanted to. Does have flash and Cyclone. Choosing to not do anything with that. Solo kill. Gonna get caught out with the shockwave. No flash to get out of that. Dominus use. Not a great Renata ultimate. It's not going to be helpful. Gideon starts spinning forwards with the Cyclone. Q will hit Doenby. Could fly forwards onto Gideon and does get onto it, but can't quite get the kill. Finally gets it with the bailout helping. A perfect execution gets onto the backline as well. Jiwoo is alive. Leave is also a little bit... Is he around still? What the heck's happening here? Doenby will go down. Leave is dead too somewhere amongst that. And NIP, I think, losing the fight overall and all. Bit of a mess. Kingen trying to get onto Nyket, actually. Does he have the bailout back up? Oh, Kingen! Sion solo kill. No! The cage! The cage keeps him away. Nio will save his support. King is going to run at him. He's going to try with his mighty movement speed to get the extra order towards, and he'll get it. He can't walk into turret range. Nyket will go down, and that will be a kill to the Sion. Oh, what the hell is named after the player Taeyun? Well, I'm naming it after him because he's the player which did it first. This is the fight replay again. Really not the best. Look, Solokill not having flash is a huge problem here in Nymaera. I think he should have just left him to die. I think he should have left him to die. It's not a great ult there. I think with that ult being down, there's so much less disruption for Nongshim to care about. Like, they don't have to care about the hostile takeover anymore. Leave flash forward. Get himself the extra damage in there. He had the red and white for the Severum Crescendum combo. Did put the rifle turrets down. It's not bad damage. It just doesn't have the items behind it just yet. I don't know, he just doesn't have the items to play like that just yet. Not quite yet. Now he's 1,000 gold behind you, who's cashed in the coal just a little bit before him. Leave will get his in soon, so it won't look quite as bad. You know, if he does that at 3 items, it's a game-saving play. Doing it at 1 item, you just don't have enough sting in your auto attacks yet for that. Ooh, Shockwave on bot side. Doomby has the perfect execution. Not bad damage, but does he have any extra cooldowns? No. Enough to force Calyx out of lane, but not enough to get the kill. I don't think Calyx can stay on... Can he stay on this HP? There's a flash on Doomby. Gets a bit worrying. Goes for one last QW, clears that out. We'll be able to teleport back now. Doomby trading ult for ult. We'll get the teleport out of Calyx. Haven't seen Yuntal Aphelios before, so it was played a little bit in LPL so far this year. There has been Lethality, Early Max, and Collector, but I think against a Scion, it's a lot harder to do that. Yuntal scales better on 2-3 items. What happens is, on 3 items particularly. Hang on, solo kill. He's down a level. Kigan is pretty scary here, and he has himself an ult in 5 seconds. Is he going to have to force the Dominus out? He is. Solo kill going to start stacking up that. Chiwu flies into the side lane like a bat out of hell. And solo kill left looking a little worse off than Meatloaf. Herald was taken by NIP, but solo kill on the Renekton is having a really bad time. But yes, what the Yuntal allows Aphelios to do is go towards Yuntal IE for really good crit DPS later. Nio has missed the knockup, flown into a solar flare, but he's using the Herald to get out. Battle Herald gets himself a quick turnaround, and we'll be able to get out that way. All right. Herald is not really that useful for them, though. Sadly, they would have loved to use that to go into mid lane. Instead, have to use it as a getaway car. Coming back to the thread now, and someone said WE's lane swap in Game 3 just opened up the can of worms. That's true. Yeah. If you go back and look back at the post-match thread, it was like a, oh no, someone's found another way to lane swap. Because remember, the lane swaps in 2024 was started by Draw, who was playing on NIP. So he played against the lane swap in solo queue, and then Draw brought it out to scrims, and there was NIP that started it in winter last year. So it was NIP that did it last year. It was Team WE that did it, I suppose at this point now in summer here. Where just like one random team, it doesn't have to be LPL, but it's somewhere, right? One random team starts innovating and saying, hang on, can we lane swap like this? Maybe it happened years ago. Maybe it's something which has been done before, but hasn't been remembered for a little while. But occasionally it comes back up and you think, oh bloody hell, that's going to change things. And I think it does change drafts quite a bit. Because suddenly if it's like, actually, I've got a weak level 180 carry, I can swap them out of it, and then lane to level 2-3. It changes a lot, right? Yuntal should be better than Collector versus Scion and Leona? Yeah, for sure. What a Collector Aphelios is very, very good at is going something like Collector Lord Dominic's Regards, maxing lethality, and just one-shotting with abilities around about the 2-item mark against squishy teams. No, it wasn't Top Esports that did the first lane swaps back in 24 last year winter. It was NIP. It was Draw that did it over there. Arguably the most influential team to not make Worlds the same year. That's true. That's true. They did really change the meta there. Kingan is really, really scary on the Scion. Very, very scary. Kingan's been having a good tournament, folks. He's been having a good tournament. I mean, last game was not great, but actually, if you look at the other games outside of that, largely been very, very good on the whole. Dragon started by Nongshim. They have 2 already. This will be 3rd Dragon. Leaves getting chunked out, which you need to keep an eye on, actually. He doesn't have the items to cut through the Scion just yet, and that's a real problem. NIP do not have DPS. Solo kill. Might go for another, well, it wouldn't be a solo death, it would be a team death, but, you know, oh, Shockwave in on that. Solo kill, trying to get some extra healing down. The Renata ult's not bad, you know, but I don't think it's enough. Solo kill flashing out. Jiu does have his ultimate to fly into the backline. Who is he going to kill? Could fly in anywhere, flies onto the Jarvan. They get themselves a kill onto the Scion, though. It ends up, I think, being a 1-for-2, 1-for-1, actually. Top lane for AD carry coming to, that's not bad from Leave. Gets himself the ult over the wall. Would have to flash his way back in for DPS, though. Close to killing with the Kaiser W in there too. Yeah, 1-for-1, all things said and done. Dragon was taken by Nongshim though, so they're very happy with that. They get themselves onto Soul Point of the Mountain variety. Thank you for the prime, by the way. Stoltmeister, appreciate you. I mean, I thought that fight, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that fight was gonna go a lot better for Nongshim, but I think a good Renata ult and Leaf being able to actually DPS that time in a better position worked out quite well. He had good weapons for the fight. We'll watch through it again. But, you know, at the start of this fight, I was watching, you know, Renekton get caught out, full CC'd, surely that's death. Didn't quite work that way, and I suppose the Shockwave is only used onto top lane as support, could have been worse. Jiwoo had to play very defensively because almost a very clean catch from Nio. Solo kill somehow managed to survive because of that. Kingen ended up going onto the rifle turret. It's one of the most dangerous things you can do against EFL is just step on top of a rifle turret and not kill it. Hey, NIP, how's it going? NIP Gaming in Twitch chat. Always nice to see you around here. We've been reminiscing about how you guys last year changed lane swap meta with Draw as the bot lane. The lane swaps of last year were largely innovated by NIP. This year it was Team W a little bit, but again, it could be any team all the time. This is the picture-in-picture. It looks like Naket died from a good pick-off from Lehens. Nongshim been pretty good at playing around that Leader role so far. Atakan starts it up, or in NIP in position to contest. Leaf has both summoners, doesn't have the Moonlight Visual right now, can't throw out the Moonlight Varus or the Mega Infernum Bomb quite as easily because, well, he can't do it at all because of that. Atakan very low HP, now could flag a drag over, doesn't do so. The Hens doesn't have, is his ult back off of cooldown? I think it's just, hang on a second, now going straight all the way in, can he get a good dunk? They do have the Renata ultimate to layer over the top of it if they want to do so. And the Infernum coming through, not the most damage, so they kill Flash, not flashing force, dashing force. Doonby going in with the perfect execution, trying to kill Jiwoo, but can't quite manage it. And super carry Doonby is super dead. Shockwave from Calyx will lock up Nymaera and leave. The hostile takeover does come through, but I feel like that business transaction has been denied by the Financial Fair Play Committee. Nongshim clear through all 5 members without losing a single one of their own, and I think NIP might be saying goodbye to Asian Invitational. I think this might be their end of their run here. If they lose here, they are out. Winner of this goes on to face Weibo on the other side of the bracket from BFX and Damwon. I mean, I understand looking for this. And I was saying, well, you know, they did have the Renata ult to layer over it. Nymaera wasn't there at the start of the fight. Doonby thinks he can maybe kill off Jiwoo. Can't quite get the damage in there. Jiwoo's had a very good series. Had a pentakill last game. And in this one, been playing fairly well on the Kaiser to survive the dive. So close from lead. So close from getting that kill. Just doesn't have the gold yet. Too far behind as a team or NIP now. Oh my god, they're behind like... How much is that? 8,000 gold maybe? 8,000 gold? Now jumping forwards again. Lehens doesn't have flash. Kingen is really... where is he? Kingen's walking around. He's got ult in 10 seconds, so Gideon doesn't have flash. Does he have the warrior trick? So really good shockwave. Catches out both bot laners. The Aphelios is dead, and I think the DPS might go with it. Doonby's trying to get himself in again with a perfect execution, but can't quite get it. Only manages to get some damage on the clone. Jiwoo still has ultimate. Is there anyone with plasma to chase down? Well, no. I mean, everyone's dead but Nio. So Nongshim, once again, walk away with a massive fight. Almost 10,000 gold ahead now. 9,000 as it stands. And the game's falling apart. Really falling apart. They don't have grubs, so Nongshim will easily take this tower. Walking in, down the mid lane. Nio's just doing his best to take away enemy jungle farm. Using the warrior trickster to tank up the tower a little bit more. With a couple of minions behind them. Is that going to be a full inhib down? Yikes. Nongshim blowing open the game.
这一局相较于第一局而言要更加悬殊一些。
So who
gets the MVP for Nongshim if they win this game? Well, probably when they win this game at this point. Kingen's had a great game on the Silent, in fairness. I think Gideon's cycling's been great. And Godguo has defected over towards Nongshim Red Force. He's done, he wants his noodles, noodling around now on the right-hand side of the box. With an NIP loss here, would leave it being 3 LCK, 1 LPL for the playoffs bracket and the double elimination. That's a problem. I mean, it is only the top lane support. They might be able to force out an ult out of him. Good damage on Doonby. He'll have to recall off of that. Does have the teleport, but good damage. Calyx feeling so bold as... Hang on. Whoa. They can push in 2 lanes and take Dragon at the same time? That is nasty. That's how far ahead they are. Aphelios is trying to trade out for an objective bounty on the top lane in a turret to try and get some gold back from it, realizing, look, we probably can't defend that well anyway. But you do need to make sure your Nexus doesn't fall. In a turret for Nexus trade is not the best, I hear. Jiwoo is just continuing to go forwards. Oh, bloody hell. It's another great shockwave. Another great shockwave, and suddenly the Renata's dead. without their hostile takeover. They're going to need some extra direction for this business. The Fellows goes down to no bailout this time. Great Cyclone will take down another with them as well. Only the one surviving member of NIP. And all that will be is to drop a flag atop the gravestones of the ninjas. Nongshim will move forwards into the knockout stage to face Weibo as NIP will depart Asian Invitational.